back to Nintendo Prime Podcast. Almost said Nintendo Prime Live. Almost said Prime Gaming Fest. Oh boy, it has been quite the week. You guys know it has been a long week. Oh yeah, what's that now, Mike? Oh baby, we got some music popping off there for a second. It feels like some old school Will Smith jams up in here. How's it going? Yeah, that was you. How's it going, Mike? We got Nintendo Academy in the house.
Yo, I was about to start rapping.
Yo, dude, I was on your jam. Like, dude, the beats are going. So is the copyright strike. So that's all right. Keep it up.
No, it's a copyright free. I think it was.
I hope so. It sounded a lot like old school Will Smith, and I'm like, oh boy, I don't mind dropping some Miami up in here, but all right. So yeah, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Nintendo Prime Podcast. We obviously didn't have one last week because we had the Super Smash Bros. Tournament leading into Prime Gaming Fest, but no worries. The podcast never went anywhere. Same time, same place, like it's supposed to be every single week. Oh, and by the way, just because I'm gone next week doesn't mean the podcast won't be happening again. Same time, same place. Next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m., we have episode 55 dropping for you guys. So I hope you are really looking forward to it. As for, can I turn Mike up? I cannot turn Mike up. Can he turn himself up? Well, absolutely, but I can't. He's already maxed on my side. So
okay. Do I need to 1, 2 testing? How does this sound?
I think you sound fine. The audience will have to let me know if the level's good or not. Or maybe I'm too loud. It is possible because I switched microphones that maybe I'm popping off a bit too loud and I have to turn down. Did Eric survive Prime Gaming Fest? People probably wondering, hey, where's the co-host of Nintendo Prime Podcast? Well, haven't heard from him since he left last night. I presume he's alive. He was online like 40 minutes ago.
He's probably still sleeping.
No, he had to work today. And he probably met the baby today from his sister.
Oh yeah.
But he's probably sleeping right now. I would presume. Let's just say he was here, guys, for literally 6 straight nights. And I'm not saying that it's bad to live here, bad to sleep here, but normally he's not used to having kids in the house. So there's that whole thing where they're running around upstairs making noise when he's trying to sleep. Yeah. On top of that, he's not in his own bed, not used to that for a week straight. And then on top of that, obviously he had 12-hour days plus because he was helping me organize all of the giveaways from Prime Gaming Fest. For those of you that are listening, audio version, or you're listening right now and you had no idea what the hell Prime Gaming Fest was, you missed quite a show. We had a nice 6-day event. Mike came on a few times, one as a scheduled guest, a bunch of times as a caller, because Mike just really enjoys what we're doing here and what we're setting up. We gave away a whole bunch of stuff. It was a really good time. Reacted to a whole bunch of gaming news. There was a lot of stuff. Microsoft dropping stuff, indies dropping stuff. It was a hell of a 6-day period. What didn't drop was a Nintendo Direct, but we do have some Nintendo Direct stuff to talk about today. So that's going to be a really fun topic when we get to it. But first, of course, we have to start every podcast the way we normally do, and that is talking about, hey, what the hell have we been playing lately? And there's only one game I've been playing lately. And that one game happens to be the newest release on Nintendo Switch, and that being Mario Strikers Battle League.
How's that going for you?
So people were right that it does get more difficult when you get past the first round of the single player cups and then get into the second round of the revamp cups and they get the higher difficulty setting. I think it basically goes from normal computer to hard computer.
Yeah.
I still don't really find it that difficult, and now I'm playing by myself without a partner. So I will say that I do lose more often, but usually I find that I'm losing because sometimes I get a little stubborn and I'm unwilling to switch characters on defense. That's usually just me being stubborn. Once I start switching characters, because for those who don't know, I tricked out my Toad to be like super fast, which makes him really great at the forward position. You know, like you get a deep lob to him down the field, like he's burning people and getting some great shots off. But then I forget to switch back to defense and take care of business. So I will say it is nice that there is some challenge there. Definitely better than my first impression going through it when the computer was clearly on normal. Clubs are still not live, so there's that.
Yeah. So when you say tricked out, what does that mean?
So you earn coins as you're playing in single player or multiplayer online, and you use that coins to buy different types of gear. There's like 4 sets of gear for each. So there's like hand, body, leg, head, and there's 4 that you can buy right away that are pretty cheap. And then when you beat the first stage, and this is for each character in the game. There's 4 for each piece of gear you can get. Which gives you different stats and stuff like that. Obviously, different looks as well. Yeah,
that's cool.
It's kind of like Mario Kart. It's kind of like Mario Kart, where like different carts give you different stats, different pieces of the cart. So it's kind of like that. And then when you beat the first time through on single player, I haven't beat the second time through, so I'm not sure if a second level of gear unlocks. But the first time you go through, then a new set of gear unlocks for each of the characters. Just one, unfortunately, but it's 1,000 coins each, which is a little bit pricey. I think personally, since I don't really like playing the online matches without it being the club matches, I don't think I'd have as much trouble paying for that gear if the online club matches, the official rank stuff was live, but it's not yet. I just still don't know why they made that decision, but I still feel pretty much the same way I felt during Prime Gaming Fest, and that is that it's definitely lacking content. If you bought this game to play single player, just don't. Just go return it. Just return. You're going to be done in like a day. Just go return it. To be fair, they didn't really advertise the single player. They always were advertising online in clubs, and that's what makes it so frustrating. Is that's what they were advertising, and really doesn't feel like the game launches for like another 5 days, because that's when that stuff opens up. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it. The gameplay is really, really good. Maybe the new content and new characters are going to be adding over time will help spice it up a little bit. But for right now, it kind of feels like I'm playing a demo, because I got as much content in the Mario Tennis Aces demo as I'm getting in this game up to this point. So here's hoping that free content updates are the answer, and that when they finally activate the ability for the clubs to rank up and get serious, that maybe that gets better as well. But until then, there's nothing else I can say other than I'm practically done with everything I could do right now. And that feels weird to say when the game came out Friday.
Yeah, that's crazy. Last Friday. That's insane. I still have not jumped in to purchase it yet, because I was planning on buying it so that I can do a review, play it, and then play with you guys online.
Get in the club. I got a couple spots left.
Yeah, but if that's not even part of it yet.
Not yet, no. It'll be live when I'm on vacation.
Yeah, I'll probably think about buying it if we get to 100 likes in the next minute. I'll buy it tonight.
There you go. There you go, guys. Let's drop 41 likes quick, and you will convince Mike to give Nintendo money.
Yeah, I'll probably buy it and then do a review in the next week. While Nate's away, I'll do like a review.
There you go. He's going to take advantage of me being gone.
Yeah,
I'm going to get a message for him on the ship. Hey, man, I just posted my review. You want to put it in your community tab quick?
No, I'll post it to Nintendo Prime. That way you guys...
directly. He's just going to show up to my house. Because, like, we're going to be in the same state for a hot minute. And he's going to be like, hey, man, leave your laptop open and go to the bathroom quick.
71. I guess at what is it? Did a minute pass yet?
No, it's only another 20 seconds. So they can still get 30 off here. I believe in the crowd. We got 160 plus. I think we can get 12. Look at 29. It's going. Let's distract him so he forgets how long a minute is. What have you been playing lately?
What did I play lately? I know I sat down and I re-downloaded a game, but I did not play it. I was into Prime Gaming Fest. I was like all the way into Prime Gaming Fest. I didn't play games while Prime Gaming Fest was on. Well, I played Mario Kart during the tournament. I got in there and got beat, like badly beat.
I mean, I can't even say that I got badly beat since Eric played half my matches.
Dude, 12 plays. I don't think I ever flinched to 11. It's like, man, I just want to make it 11. No, not even close. I think I got some drivers past me like 2-3 times. Like, what in the world going on here?
You didn't even finish your third lap. It would just end because everyone else fell across the line.
The game just ended. I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't even passed the goal. How do I?
Yeah, but so in case you weren't aware, he's at the 50cc skill level. Is what we're saying, right?
Yeah, not even that, man.
I should have tortured everyone. See, we went 200 cc. We should have went 50, and everyone would have been like, "What the? This is so slow." For all of us, it is. You're right.
I'm not even at the. I'm talking about. I'm at the 50 cc level of Mario Kart from Super Nintendo. that's where I'm at.
That's
I'm
rough.
pretty good at Super
That's
Nintendo.
rough. That's rough.
No other Mario Kart.
That's rough.
But I actually re-downloaded some games that I wanted to. Well, first thing I downloaded a game. I downloaded what's this game? Monster Hunter Rise, which I literally bought. And never played. So watching the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, let me just
June 30th, guys. Sunbreak's looking sick.
Yeah. So that's what got me into re-downloading it, and let me give it a chance because I had it there. I know I was gonna play it, but there was other games I wanted to play more at the time. So you know what? Let me just give it a chance. It's a Capcom game. Basically, I got an email from Capcom for that program thing, and they were stating, "Hey, can you send us some videos you made from Capcom?" Like, I don't think I have any. So let me download this, play it, do a review on it.
See, at least they were considering you. I tried signing. Here's what's weird. I tried signing up for that program, right? For those that don't know, they have a program basically where content creators can sign up, and it's basically how you get review copies of games from them. That's basically the gist of it. It's kind of like Nintendo's partner program, and they want evidence of like one that you even play Capcom games, which that makes sense. And obviously, two, you know, how big's the channel? What kind of viewership do you get? And the thing is, I cover the Capcom games, and we just don't get a lot of them on Switch. So since I make so many videos, like, oh, when's the last time you talked about Monster Hunter? I'm like, well, I mean, it was in a Prime News episode, I guess, but it wasn't like the main theme. And then before that, I guess back when it came out, you want some other Capcom videos? Release more content.
Yeah, it's true.
Give it Nelson's the Resident Evil game. Guarantee you. Hey, you want to see Capcom stuff? I got a rumor on Resident Evil that blew up to 15,000 views. I'll show you that. There is interest. Just get. They rejected me twice so far. Yeah. What's funny? They rejected me, but then I reached out and I said, "Hey, I got Prime Gaming Fest going on," and then they came through and gave me codes for Prime Gaming Fest. So Capcom's like, "Hey, look, we like that idea," and I'm like, "Cool, you like that idea enough? Can I get in your program now?"
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get rejected too. I'm pretty sure that they're just like, take a look.
No, you just casually slip in. Oh, sorry, did I send you the wrong video? Interview with Charles Martinet.
right.
Just casually. Whoops! I sent the wrong links.
That's a good idea. But yeah.
Oh wait, he talks to Nintendo employees. Yeah, you're in.
You know, after the Capcom presentation, believe it or not, I'm like. Like it's interesting. I love Capcom as a company. I've been following them since I was a kid. Since I was a kid. Mega Man. I'm just so missing Mega Man. I'm missing Mega Man. There's so much that they could do with Mega Man, and the fact that I didn't see no Mega Man whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it's been since. God, when did Mega Man 11 come out? Wasn't that 2018, 2019? It was a while ago at this point.
I mean, yeah, and how so many games have gone from side scrolling to first shooter to open world to 3D to there's so much they can do with that character story wise. Just bring it forward, make it at least their Capcom's own adventure game or something that they can do with that character. But they just completely just put him in the back burner. And I guess is that Capcom changing their name to Resident Evil because that's all we saw. Resident Evil here, Resident Evil there. I get Resident Evil fans got a buffet. They were super happy.
Well, Resident Evil's been really popping off for them ever since they did the RE2 remake. From that point forward, RE7, RE2, they've just been kind of killing it. So Resident Evil is like really in a huge resurgence right now for people that are really into that franchise, which is really great because it kind of went in a lull after Resident Evil 4 for a bit. They really changed it from more of a horror game into an action game, and it was not really what Resident Evil was known for. Then 7, they started to turn the corner back towards, hey, we'll keep a little action, but we really want to get back to the horror aspect. And then obviously all the way back with Village, full on buying into the horror again. Really, really great for them. Really great reception, great DLC coming. Obviously, a lot of hype over the Re4 remake coming because it is largely considered one of the greatest games of all time, let alone one of the greatest Resident Evil games. So, and it looks like they're doing a hell of a good job, just like they did with the other remakes. So shout out to Capcom for all that. So you were going to play Monster Hunter, obviously didn't. I'll warn you, it is a big time sink. It's a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You're fighting big monsters all the time, and you can fight them with friends.
Oh, that's cool.
We could technically team up together and suck together on live stream.
And that's cool, man. That's cool. Let's do it.
Get our asses kicked on live stream. Show everyone how much we don't play Monster Hunter.
Well, I got an idea for like if they ever ask us for a Capcom video, like okay, let's just go on the on the eShop and just find those little collection games. The top 10 Nintendo Switch Capcom collection games and go back in time and then play the old, really, really old ones. Because I mean, that's what we have in on Switch, right? For them, besides Resident Evil, was it Resident Evil 2 or 3 that we have on Switch now? The old one, the old version.
Yeah. We have the old ones that were on like 3DS and Wii U.
Yeah. That's been my gaming life this week. I've been having fun with Prime Gaming Fest, dude. Even look, I stepped away for a couple of because of course family, family first. I stepped away to go to a few doctor's appointments and some stuff and for the family, but I kept Prime Gaming Fest in my pocket with my AirPods and the headphones. Man, it was just hilarious listening to Prime Gaming Fest. Even if I wasn't present looking out on the computer, it was just pure hilarious listening to your guys' reaction on certain things. At one point, you guys came up with what the heck are we watching? Is this like rated XXX or something about some game? Like, what the heck what are they watching? I'm like,
shout out to Logan's mom.
Yeah, I was enjoying the show. The show. And it was hilarious. At one point, you called my name and I won a prize. And I was, and by the way, when you're on your phone and you're outdoors over cellular, the feed from YouTube is about, I would say, 2 to 3 minutes late. Probably it's super late. It's super late and it fluctuates. It'll speed up and then it'll come back. Speed up. You guys sound like signals for a little bit. Like speed up and then come back. And I'm like, wait, did they announce my name? And I see my Nintendo Academy in the chat. And I wasn't even there. I was like, it was in my pocket, so I was kind of claim it as much
see that's how easy it is to win your Prime Gaming Fest, folks. You don't even have to be paying attention. Look in the chat, people will be yelling at you.
Yeah, but it was hilarious, man. I had fun. It was so fun. It was much fun. Good job. Really good job. Yeah,
thanks. So we have a couple really huge topics we want to get to today. One of them is actually talking about the transition to the next Nintendo platform, probably a next gen Switch. We don't know. And a thing Nintendo did that I found out was some items that we gave away during Prime Gaming Fest that no longer can be purchased.
Yeah,
maybe has something to do with it. We'll see. And then besides that, let's get into the first one. And that is what we think is going to be announced at this Nintendo Direct. Because right now, looking at all the current evidence at the moment, it seems like it's happening June 29th. Thank God. That's after I get back, so I don't miss a thing. Because me trying to watch it over 1 megabyte internet on a cruise ship, it would be really, really bad. I'd probably be similar experience to you out there with the, hey, it's working, and then, oh, now it's not, and oh, it just rushed through 3 minutes of chipmunk mode. So I'm glad that supposedly that's the date. The only reason I want that to be the date isn't because I don't want it sooner. It's just I'm not going to be in the country, so it would be really great if it happens while I'm here to cover it. That and the fact that there's some stuff that's been leaking out there a little bit. We have obviously Emily Rogers put out the rumor all about the Fire Emblem info that she knew about a brand new Fire Emblem game. Emily Rogers is one of the most reliable insiders that's pretty much ever existed for maybe period, let alone for Nintendo content. And then we suddenly had leaked screenshots from somebody else. And then Emily Rogers commented on those screenshots because everyone's like, oh, it kind of looks like a mobile game. Why is it in Chinese? And she came out and she said, look, I haven't seen these images before. Now I'm looking at them. It lines up with the information I have. It looks correct. It being in Chinese doesn't really concern me because the number of teams working on the game includes members that are in China. So it would make sense if that's one of the first localizations happening during development. It does look like it's from an early build. I've seen early builds of Fire Emblem before. They're pretty rough. This looks a little bit rough, which would fit it being a really early build. And we don't get leaks of screenshots of Nintendo games like ever. Yeah, so if those are real, that would constitute one of the biggest leaks we've ever seen of a Nintendo game before. We hear things, we don't see things.
Man,
that's that's insane. And then obviously,
wow.
Well, and that's the thing. We had the Breath of the Wild stuff come out as well, Breath of the Wild 2 stuff, because at least, so for those who don't know the story, some people got mad today when I put a video out because I read a news article that was referencing another YouTuber. Whether you like that other YouTuber or not is kind of irrelevant. He's not the source. Okay. The source is a certain person. I'm not going to name her name. I'll mention it's a female because it's been mentioned all over. I'm not going to mention her name. Was on the Chinese version of Twitter, and basically put out there a bunch of stuff. She said basically she was hired last year, March, to be an animator for the Breath of the Wild 2 game. And by the way, why would it be someone tweeting, from the Chinese version of Twitter? Because you can work from home. Nintendo of Japan, everyone's working from home. Nobody's in the office.
Yep.
Everyone's working from home. So you can be hired and work remotely. And China is literally not that far away from Japan, clearly. So once that's over, she would obviously move to Japan and work in the building, assuming that she's hired on past the contract stage. It could just be a temporary contract. Anyway, she brought on as an animator. She mentioned some things that she's been working on, and her profile was not only verified, what that whole blue check mark thing is on our Twitter. Well, they have a version of that on the Chinese version. She was verified, so it means that she is who she claims to be, and obviously had all these references in her profile that she is a current employee of Nintendo of Japan working on the sequel to Breath of the Wild. So it doesn't really get more direct than this. I doubt she's getting rehired past her contract. Yeah. Maybe she's done. Maybe her work's done. Maybe her contract's done, and now she just doesn't care because maybe she's a little sour because she wasn't kept on. So maybe that's why she decided to put out, hey, I'm just going to say a couple things where I can't get sued because I'm not giving perfect details, but I'm just mentioning a couple things I've worked on. So then maybe she's trying to get new hiring opportunities. Maybe that was the whole point of it. Because she mentioned things like she worked on animation for the first time that Link interacts with the Sheikah Slate in the new game. We'd had no idea Link even touched the damn Sheikah Slate in the new game.
Yeah.
Thought everything was with the arm. But apparently at some point in the game, he touches the Sheikah Slate. Why? I don't know. It could just be a Zelda and Link interaction. People speculating, maybe Zelda, maybe Link's showing Zelda how to do some of the moves from the prior game, and so Zelda becomes playable. I know that's all rumor. She didn't ever say that. She just mentioned that, and then she also mentioned things like, "Hey, I did some animations on the dragons that are flying around for this game." Yeah. Okay, there we got some epic dragon battles. Yeah, there's dragons in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're obviously going next level here with those because they clearly have the animations from the prior game. They must need those dragons to do something else and do some crazy stuff. And then also mentioned that, hey, I did a little bit of work on some animations and stuff related to New Game Plus, which we've had sort of before. Zelda 2 kind of had a New Game Plus. It wasn't exactly the way we look at it today, but you did get to carry some of your gear forward into a second playthrough that was harder and remixed a little bit. And basically, we haven't had that in Zelda basically ever since. Usually you end the game, and if you unlock a master mode or a hero mode, you're reset back to nothing. Here she's basically saying, hey, you get to the end and you'll have the opportunity to basically start that new save file, but you get to keep all the crap you have from the very beginning. So then maybe you'll get to new areas that maybe you didn't explore before in a new playthrough. I think it would be interesting if you got to keep all your gear, because maybe this is a criticism they took from Breath of the Wild where, we get to go to master mode, but I don't want to be reset. I already worked really hard to get all this stuff. I don't necessarily want to go through all the work again to get the ancient armor as an example, but I still would love to play around in this world and have a lot of fun. Well, hey, take all this stuff forward with you on a new save file. Maybe your hearts get reset or something, but you get to keep your gear so you're better prepared for like the new master mode or something like that. I think that could be a criticism they took away. It's a weird one they took away from it. But that also means if they did take that criticism away, what else did they take away? I don't know. So this is just insane that we potentially have like 2 very real leaks of major Nintendo games.
That's crazy.
And one of them is Zelda, which, by the way, I've been covering Zelda forever. We don't get leaks like this from employees. Like directly, I can look at the profile and see, holy shit, verified Nintendo employee. This, and by the way, the tweets are deleted now, of course. They got rid of them because, of course, they did. Like, it got way too much attention. How did they ever thought it was going to get outside of China? They don't know the Zelda fan base very well if they didn't think it was going to get outside of China, which is fine. Maybe they don't know. Could have been the first Zelda game they worked on, no experience. They probably wouldn't know that, hey, we're scouring everything. We're not leaving any stone unturned when we're looking for new Zelda information. So yeah, it got out, quickly deleted, didn't matter, captured. It's held in internet history. So that's stuff that, hey, I don't know if that's going to be the Zelda stuff's going to necessarily be shown at the direct, but maybe it will. And then we obviously have the rest of this year. We know it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Splatoon 3. We don't have dates for Bayonetta. There's obviously Pokemon stuff. I'm not so sure we see that. They don't usually show a lot of Pokemon stuff in directs because Pokemon does their own marketing. But, you know, we need a date for Sparks of Hope. And obviously this leaves us questioning what else could they put in this thing? And also, why the hell is it seemingly timed at the same time as the investors meeting? But I'm going to save that for a transition into our second topic. So, Mike, what do you think about this craziness and this information getting out? And then what do you think is going to be in this direct for the rest of this year?
And dude, trust me, I as a content creator, I've never focused on leaks and stuff like that. But lately, I've just been enjoying it just because Nintendo doesn't give us much, man. We don't get. It's like there's a drought. We're in the desert trying to find an oasis, and then we see like a mirage. Somebody says something about this game, and we're like just running. Everybody, all the creators running towards it to oh no, my God, it's a mirage. It's not real, you know. And then finally, we see something that gives us a hint, a resemblance of life from a game that we're expecting. You know, not only Fire Emblems, but Breath of the Wild, man. You know, I'm enjoying myself, dude. I made the same exact video that you did. I got it from you and from your source, but I only sourced the actual website where the thing was.
Where it originated from, yeah. When they got deleted.
Yeah, and then
you can find a few records of it, I think, at Reset Era, and I think on Reddit. They got a couple screenshot records of it.
I only read a couple of things of it. I just spoke generally about the topic. I didn't really source anybody. I mean, I didn't really even mention a lot of people, whatever. But but it's just fun to know that it's alive. You know what I mean? Because us as content creators, we've already known about so many games that are coming. Yeah. So many announcement that Nintendo has already done, games that are in development, blah, blah, blah. But then we don't see anything, like no signs of life, no little snapshots in Twitter that Nintendo's working on something. I think one of your subscribers said it best at her call-in when she called in. Is your subscriber the one that talks to you about Zelda all the time?
Joy CJ. Shout out Joy CJ.
Yeah. So she said it the best. I mean, Nintendo should at least if we know that there's a Breath of the Wild coming, give us little snippets and little things to get excited about on Twitter, like a little picture, something. You know what I mean?
I mean, technically, like even Metroid Prime 4 got that with the updated art on Retro Studios Twitter page.
Yeah, something in that sort. It's true. Give us something, an oasis that we can look forward to looking at in this desert of news. You know what I mean? but yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting that we got those leaks. I'm more excited. Of course, I'm more excited. I'm more of a Zelda fan than I am Fire Emblem. I think I need to get more into Fire Emblem. So I think I'm going to go get Fire Emblem 3 Hopes and try to get into that. That's a warrior game, right? That's the warrior.
It's Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, which is connected to 3 houses from 2019. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe I'll start with 3 houses, and then I'll also go over to. Okay, I get it. So Fire 3 Hopes is just like what Breath of the Wild was to
Age of Calamity.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. So yeah, and when it comes to the Nintendo Direct, man, Nintendo has already announced so much. I'm guessing, yeah, they're gonna do a recap, one of those little recap beginnings of the things they've announced. Because if we have it on the 29th, then by that time we still have Live Alive, we still have Xenoblade, Splatoon,
Live Alive, Xenoblade, and Splatoon that we all have dates for. And then Pokemon, I don't know. Again, don't know. They usually don't cover that at Direct, so I'm gonna kind of leave that alone.
I think we'll see something, maybe like a little clip or something.
It could be a reminder of upcoming releases or something.
Yeah. So I call that the recap. They always do like a recap of what they announced and what's coming. But when it comes to new, man, I really want to see something Zelda and something new. I don't care. I mean, Breath of the Wild. Not sure if they're gonna do a lot for it, since we have another Direct in September. Yeah, and it feels more natural for them to do it in September. And in September, they will probably announce a Direct dedicated to Breath of the Wild. Not even give us anything else, you know. But I really want to see something Mario. We don't have a brand new Mario since 2017. Something Donkey Kong related. Of course, Metroid. Anything Metroid. I'm looking forward to Metroid Prime, either the
rumored remaster and remake.
Yeah. Just because I went back to play Metroid Prime, the first game.
Sure,
I like how it looks, but I would love to see how it looks on the Switch. You know, I want to see what they do with it. And yeah, man. I mean, I just want to see something new. I just want to see something new. And what 2023 can bring for us. I want to see if Breath of the Wild is the best that 2023 has to offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Usually this Direct at this time of the year, they tease one thing for 2023.
Yeah.
I don't, as much as I want to see more of Breath of the Wild 2, I'm not so sure we're going to get it here. Maybe we do. As a reminder, it's coming. But I'm not expecting it, just because they have so many other games to advertise. And since we don't have a date, we just have spring of 2023. A lot of people presume that means, it'll be end of March before the end of the fiscal year. Doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the case. They might look at this as wanting to kick off the next fiscal year, and they release it, a month or two after, because March, end of March is like the beginning of spring. There's no guarantee that that's when the game's going to come. We'll have to see how they time that. And I don't think we get a release date for it right now. You had a dream?
I had a dream, bro, with the Direct. Like, what am I doing dreaming about Directs, And I'm like, I had a dream with the Direct. I only saw one game that they showed in the Direct, okay?
What is this?
And it was a brand new 2D Mario, okay? But it wasn't Super Mario, new Super Mario, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It was a 2D Mario game that kind of felt, in a way, like... what's this Mario game where you can make levels? Mario Maker.
Mario Maker? Yeah, Mario Maker.
Yeah, it felt like that because you could actually it had every single level from every single 2D Mario made, and you could play as any character throughout the entire thing. So it was super weird. It was like, okay, so you can use the newer Super Mario and play at go back to level 1-1 on Super Mario Bros. Go to that level, but with the more modern Super Mario. It was very weird placed. I did like the logo, but it was like a brand new 2D Mario, and it was in New Super Mario Brothers. It had a different mechanic to it, and it looked exciting. So I'm hoping I saw a glimpse of the future, because according to the Marvel Universe, when you dream, you're looking either at the future or you're looking at an alternate universe. So
there you go. Yeah. That's how it goes. Looking at this year, I think most of the major games have already been announced that are going to come out this year. I could see a Fire Emblem get announced as like a bonus come out around this holiday season. Fire Emblem is not it's a major IP for Nintendo, but it's not one that's going to be like a 10 million seller. So it's kind of one that they could announce in June, release it in October, November, pair it up with Pokemon, maybe even do Pokemon, in the middle to end, Fire Emblem at the beginning. I think that pairing could actually go very, very well. and hit on different audiences. So I could see maybe that being one of the big announcements they do for this year. Besides that, I think anything else that they announce, at least for 2022, are going to be things in the ilk of old games coming back. Metroid Prime, HD, or, a new Zelda, remaster, whether it's, Twilight Princess HD, Wind Waker HD double pack, which I know there are some journalists that swear by it, that's a thing that Nintendo is just sitting on. That's fine. If they're sitting on it, I guess I would say now is probably the best time to release it since we have Breath of the Wild 2 next year. But then maybe they're thinking we kick it off and save that for, a next generation Switch or something. I have no idea. Maybe there's a new top-down remaster coming because, Grezzo did Link's Awakening. Maybe they're working on another remastered top-down Zelda game they may want to drop this year, which, again, wouldn't need the same, year-long hype cycle that like a bigger game would. So I do think that there's a few things that can fill in. The biggest thing, obviously, is at least the 2 games that are supposed to be 2022 that are already announced. I want dates. Bayonetta 3 and Sparks of Hope. I want dates. I want to know when they're coming. What?
No delays, please.
Yeah. I mean, I think Bayonetta 3 is done. I think it's been done. Sparks of Hope's the one that I'm kind of like, I know last time we heard about it was a developer at this thing in LA was saying, oh, everything's fine. That's great. Well, I haven't seen the game in a year, so I don't know that everything's fine. I would really, really, really like to believe that game is still coming this year, even though it would just add to a killer 2023 if I have that and Zelda, and who knows what else Nintendo has in store. Probably something Pokemon, because there's almost something Pokemon almost every year. So even though it would be really weird, because I think I got to check the dates. I think it's very, very close to having 3 major Pokemon releases in a 12-month period. Which is going to be, I mean, I might be off by a couple of days just past 12 months, but it's like really close between Brilliant Diamond, Arceus, and Scarlet and Violet. So that's just insane to me that they would suddenly have something ready to go next year. But I guess if they're hiring out the same company that Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl to remake another game, could have that ready potentially to go next year, I suppose. Because I don't think that kind of game takes a ton of development time. But maybe I'm off base, because maybe they're all still working from home to keep team doing it, and it will take longer. And just looking at the potential of this direct, it's hard for me to ignore the timing. And this is, to me, is what might lead into our next topic about the next Nintendo platform, or it doesn't even need to be next generation, but it could be, because Nintendo, we don't know how Nintendo's handling any sort of transition with platforms, but they've never had an investors meeting and a Nintendo Direct within the same 24-hour period. It's just never happened. And it makes you wonder, is there a reason for it? And could that reason be because Nintendo might actually announce something at this Direct that nobody sees coming? Last year, everyone was expecting something. This year, no one's saying a damn word. Except for Nintendo.
Or scared to.
I mean, Nintendo technically didn't say a word either. When asked about new hardware at their last investor meeting, hey, is there new hardware coming this year? No comment.
But yeah, that's also a first, because last time they were in the middle of the cycle.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the generation, and we're always working on new hardware. Switch has a long life ahead. Okay, this year,
no comments on more than
no more middle of the life cycle, no more long life ahead, no more saying, "Oh, we're always working on new hardware." Just nope. You asked me a question, and I don't want to lie to you, so no comment.
Yeah, they can't mislead or lie to
investors. They can be. I don't know the exact laws. I know in the U.S. you can't do that. You can get sued. But Nintendo's usually really good at talking around it. But this is a different president, and he's been leaning on the same rhetoric for 3 years. Hey, middle of the life cycle, we're always working on new hardware. Obviously, we always consider it the right timing to release. Switch is doing incredible. We have a long life ahead. We're going to extend the life as much as we can. And that's basically it. That's like the same thing he's been saying for 3 years until this last fiscal meeting where they asked him the same question, and he just said, "No comment. No comment. I'm not even going to repeat what I've been saying. Just no comment. No comment."
Yeah, and maybe what they've been saying no longer applies. Yeah.
I mean, it can't be in the middle of the life cycle 4 years in a row. Unless we're having a 12-year Switch,
Exactly.
It can't still be in the middle.
Wow.
We have to be past the middle in year 6. We are in the midst of year 6. We are a handful of months into year 6. We have to be past the middle at this point, or we're going on 12, 13, 14 years or something. Which that begs the question that if they're timing this specifically because they want to be able to answer investor questions on hardware potentially, is now one, would the hardware come this year? I highly doubt they would announce it this year and not release it by this holiday. And I think maybe the Splatoon 3 being shifted to a different month, and pushing Xenoblade up could be one of those. Splatoon 3 is a big seller. If we could maybe pair hardware with Splatoon 3, that, it might not be something that, people feel like they need new hardware to play Splatoon 3, but it's a big seller and it's this new shiny thing.
Dude, at 9/9. Okay, this is September 9th. It's the OLED released in October 8th.
Yeah.
October 8th, 10/10. Splatoon is 9/9. 10/8, 10/8. Never mind. That's not crazy. But yeah, 9/9. It's on Splatoon 3, and I feel like you're right. If they are going to release a new console or even an updated Switch, then Splatoon 3 is a much better game to display the new graphics, new colors, new whatever.
I think Xenoblade could be a really good showpiece game, but it's not a big seller.
Yeah.
And they want a big seller with it, And to go along with this, and this is what I find interesting. So during Prime Gaming Fest, I gave away 2 PhotoFast 4K Gamer Pros, which they're basically M Classics just done a little bit differently with a slightly different technology. And what's interesting is the reason you can't buy one, pre-order one, is because Nintendo copyrighted their Kickstarter. Now, keep in mind, the PhotoFast 4K can be used for more than just a Switch. So what the hell are they doing? Remember, Nintendo didn't take out the M Classic.
Yeah.
You can go buy that right now. They didn't take out the first PhotoFast.
Yeah.
But they're taking out the 4K Pro. What are they doing in there that bothered Nintendo to want to take out the Kickstarter? So guys, congratulations to the 2 winners. You're getting a product that I don't think's ever coming out because Nintendo has locked that shit down. So congratulations. Enjoy your $300. Well, we're at this point, priceless product that Nintendo doesn't even want to exist. So
especially if you have a regular Switch.
They don't want this thing to exist. And I wonder if it's because, hey, we're going to be doing that with our next platform. We don't want you selling accessories that make it so people don't buy our next platform.
That's true.
So now again,
that right there is breaking news. That right there is it's newsworthy.
Yeah, I actually got an email from them. So I emailed them last night asking, hey, why's your Kickstarter down? You sent me product to give away, but I couldn't advertise your Kickstarter during Prime Gaming Fest. They got back to me this morning and showed me the copyright strike notice on Kickstarter, and it listed Nintendo of America. And I'm like, what? There's no Nintendo branding in your thing. We know. I'm like, damn. Hot damn. I'm like, your first one didn't get taken down. The M Classic one didn't get taken down.
I'm really sorry for them, man, but I really feel for them. But in a way, it kind of makes me excited,
Yeah, I mean, PhotoFast has other products, so they're not. They'll survive this, and it kind of sucks that I think they have to refund all the Kickstarter backers as well that they did have, and that part kind of sucks. And so because I'm sure they spent some of that money already or are planning to spend it on manufacturing. So that sucks, but honestly, it's not my problem, and this is one reason why I don't want to run anything on Kickstarter, because I don't want to, I'm already skirting the line here using Nintendo in my YouTube channel name. Anytime Nintendo decides that that's not okay anymore.
That is true.
Granted, I have a quick and easy shift. Nintendo to Ninty. Ninty. They don't own the term Ninty. I could go copyright it. So I'm not going to, because then, oh man, anytime a fan uses the word Ninty, I could technically sue him.
Nate Prime.
Nate, no, I'm good. I mean, that's the thing. No matter if I went with Nate Prime or if I went with Ninty, either way, I could keep MPP. That ain't a problem. But nah, Nintendo, by the way, they're all cool with people using their branding in in the stuff. They basically they view it as we don't like, I have my drinking and my more adult oriented content here. So that's one reason why they'll never put me in the partner program. But that doesn't mean they want to actively work against me, because they know there's a huge audience that's older that really wants content creators and stuff like this. So it doesn't mean that Nintendo could reach out to me to want to work on something like Breath of the Wild 2, which they realize might hit on an older audience, or maybe Bayonetta 3, which obviously is rated M for mature. That's the kind of stuff with like a content creator like me. That's not our partner program thing. That's hey, we think your user base is good for this product. So it's not saying that Nintendo and I can never work together. I've had meetings with them. I've gone to media events with them. So still could be invited to that stuff. Just not going to get review copies of games, and that's fine. But the big thing is that they view it as a sort of a net gain. It's a net gain for fans to use parts of their franchises and their company name in their branding and all of that. They view that as a positive, which is really weird, since they view certain ways that people use their IP as a negative when it doesn't even hurt them. But Nintendo's a weird company like that. I actually had a conversation with a rep from them once. I'm like, why could we use the name Zelda Informer? Like, well, technically we don't own the name Zelda. It's existed long before. I'm like, okay, I get that, but we have Triforces and Link pictures. All like, you could take all that out, and like some of it's fan art. Like, yeah, we could, but you guys actually increase sales for us, so we don't really care.
Dude, that NT thing is catchy.
It is. I've always had it in my mind as a background, as a backup plan, because we've had issues, by the way, folks. Nintendo isn't doing anything about our name. They're cool with it, just like they're cool with Nintendo Life and Go Nintendo Cat. You can keep using Nintendo. They're clearly not going to do anything about it in a content creation space. However, when you're going, and I don't know if Mike's running into this, a lot of merchandise places you go to try to get merchandise made, when they see Nintendo in it, they'll be like, nope, it's got a copyrighted name, and it's like, but Nintendo doesn't. Nope, can't copyrighted name.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I actually, I'm saying this for the first time, I've actually considered a name update, not too far from the one I have now, but you want to have your own brand. You want to. Yeah,
there is something to be say about that. Like, it is some of the biggest content creators in the YouTube space, like Game Explain or Beat 'em Ups. Like they all have a brand that no one can copyright them. That's them.
Exactly. You want to have a brand, and you want to continue being a Nintendo content creator, but you don't want that the name Nintendo to stop you from actually building that brand and expanding your audience, Yeah. Also, I probably wouldn't get it
if I changed my brand and got rid of Nintendo and just had it be like a more Nate Prime or something else. Like, then I wouldn't have that one Xbox fan who came in our chat and yelled at me during the Xbox show that, hey, we don't want Nintendo channels covering Xbox. You're just trying to use it for clicks. And I'm like, my Xbox is right here. Do you want me to show you my gamer profile? I play Xbox games.
This guy was a kid. He was a kid.
No, he had to be a kid. But I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, well, it can be a little confusing. Why is this Nintendo channel covering Xbox? Well, fine. Drop the Nintendo. I like everything.
Sam was in the chat. Was like, okay, the Bomb Prime.
The Bomb Prime.
You should do the Bomb Prime.
We're dropping the DBP.
Three shots of the Bomb hot sauce in one stream. Really, seriously. Crazy, man.
There we go. Dropping the bombs. There's a whole bunch of names if I ever needed to change. Merchandise has really been the only thing I've run into. The problem, obviously, for me at this point is the brand means a lot when you get to a certain size. I've attempted the rebrand thing before because of this whole situation, and it actually really killed viewership for a bit. So I quickly changed back. And as I've always told a lot of fans, the brand matters. You see a different YouTube channel name, even if it's got the same profile picture. Like I've kind of made a move to enable myself to maybe get away with it at some point in the future. The profile picture on my channel is no longer the Bomb. It's no longer MP. It's my face as a cartoon.
Yeah. So is mine.
And that's because I want people to start viewing the brand as me more so than Nintendo Prime. That way, when you get big enough, because like MKHB, he used to be MKHB. He got huge, and he decided, gosh, this is just some stupid, silly name I came up when I was a kid. I'm hugely successful. I'm the face of the brand. I just want to cover what I want to cover, even if it's not tech. I'll just make my name the channel, Marquez Brown Lee. And he could do that because he's a huge creator, and he slowly changed that brand. That's kind of what I'm setting myself up for. Is if I ever get big enough where I people will be willing to at least check it out because it has the same logo to see what's going on. Oh, he get hacked again? Well, come check out and find out what's going on. And I think I might be able to get away with that, guys. This isn't me saying I'm rebranding anytime soon. I'm just keeping it in the back of my mind in case there's ever some problems.
We all have to, anybody who has like a name related to an actual company like Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation, you have to kind of consider, keep it in the back of your head just in case, And
the biggest thing is when I go file for the LLC. In Wisconsin, I'm not so sure they're going to let me put Nintendo in the LLC brand. So it'll have to. Now, Nintendo Prime could be a sub brand, but it would have to be under the umbrella of the LLC, which would have to be like Prime Enterprises or something like that. So, but it's whatever. Nintendo's obviously leaving it alone. The biggest thing I dislike about it is obviously, well, I'm always going to primarily be a Nintendo guy, and that's always going to be at the forefront of my coverage. I do talk about other things sometimes, and it would be nice if people didn't be like, I thought this was a Nintendo channel. I'm like, well, it's a Nate channel that I called Nintendo Prime, but it's whatever I feel like talking about. I have an affinity for Nintendo. I love Nintendo. I'm going to talk about the news, but sometimes, hey, you know what? Today, I just kind of feel like talking about God of War Ragnarok, and you know what? That's what it's going to be. And if you want to unsubscribe, I guess have a good day. Don't worry, we're never going to shift to be like, oh, we're primarily Nintendo, so now, oh my gosh, now he's primarily PlayStation. No, it's just like every now and then, I play everything. I want to, I want to talk about things when I want to talk about them. Thankfully, during something like Prime Gaming Fest, it's usually not an issue. We did end up losing subscribers, but then we gained subscribers in the end, so I guess it kind of worked out. We hit 78.1 on the final day. We gained over 100 subscribers on the final day. That was pretty nice. I don't know if it was just because of the bigger giveaways we were doing and the fact that it was the Nintendo day of the whole fest. So it's weird though, because I had an Xbox image up for the entire stream. It's still up. I forgot to change it back. But hey, didn't seem to matter. So
first name I tried to come up with when I was trying to start, it was Mike Tendo. But then I found out there's another YouTuber name with Mike Tendo.
I would have never discovered you because I know about the other guy.
Yeah, and at the time he was around 5,000, 6,000 subscribers when I first started. I think he's around 8 right now. Not doing. So some people watching the live show version said, "Hey, you could run into some issues with Amazon because of Prime. Amazon doesn't own the word Prime. No, that doesn't.
No, Primes exist in a lot of other businesses, so they don't own that word.
Prime is a term for the top of the line of something. Like,
I'll give you an example. Like I said, Nintendo doesn't own the word Zelda, so I know there's a business name called Zelda Dungeon Enterprises because that's what the company that bought out Zelda Informer. That's a legal business in the state of Illinois. So as long as it's a name that's a word that existed before said Nintendo is a term that never existed until Nintendo existed. It's a if you actually look at the history, it's a combination of terms from Nintendo's past. But we're not going on a history lesson, but it's a made up word, but it has a meaning behind it. And we'll just leave it at that. Nintendo's had a lot of crazy things happen over the years. The whole Love Hotel era was wonderful. So just jumping a little bit back into this. So my speculation is maybe we get a hardware announcement this month. Maybe there's something in September or October. Now they got this 4K thing that got taken out by Nintendo for some unknown reason, which whatever, it's legal proceedings. I'm not involved in that. The thing I'm more curious about is even if nothing comes this year or if something does, say there's a Pro, whatever. How does Nintendo like whenever we finally get to that the actual next generation system? Because no matter if hardware comes this year or early next year, I know some think it's going to come around Breath of the Wild 2. I do not fully believe that's Switch 2. I don't think Nintendo's going full next gen right at this moment.
Yeah. Too dangerous.
So like whenever the next system comes, whether it's Switch 2 or some other crazy concoction Nintendo comes up with, how do you think Nintendo should handle that transition? Because one thing Nintendo's been very bad at is transitioning to their next platform. They've always been bad at it from the very beginning. So what would you do and how do you think they should do it? I mean, you have a lot of experience with Apple and how they transition between products. And that's one reason I think this is a great conversation to have you on, because you actually work at a company that deals with transitioning to the next product. So what would you do if you were in that board meeting with Nintendo and you're like, hey, I know what the next product is cool. Here's how we should transition to it so we don't lose our fans like Nintendo seems to do between generations.
Yeah, and believe it or not, Nintendo has already started doing that. Because if you look at Apple, if you look at their phones, at the beginning, they faced that same issue with iPhone, from iPhone to iPhone 3G. Then iPhone 3GS. So they wanted to create a middle point, like the same exact phone, iPhone 3G, iPhone 3GS was the same exact phone. It was just basically the 3G antenna added to the phone, but it was a mid-gen upgrade that really didn't change much, but the speed of the internet you got on the phone. And for a period of time, they did that 4S, 5S. Then they did 5C. So it's like basically, this is what Nintendo has done so far with the Switch. They got the Switch, right? Then they got the Switch Lite, the Switch Lite smaller version to replace the mobile. They conveniently released it basically when they were done with 3DS. Yeah, exactly. And so by releasing a Switch OLED, this is a comparison to say, okay, this is an iPhone something S version. This is an S version of an iPhone because it's not a complete upgrade, but it's just a small
quality
upgrade.
Of life.
Yeah, quality and everything is of the same thing, is compatible with the next iPhone. So I feel like if Nintendo is going to release a next console, it's not going to be the full next gen upgrade. It'll be, for example, and this may even be the name, Switch, the Nintendo Switch 4K edition, basically Nintendo Switch 4K edition with the OLED plus the higher hardware, the better hardware inside. This way, they have a complete lineup, and this 4K edition could take Nintendo to the next 3 years. You know what I mean? Until they present to us the next generation of the brand of Nintendo. I'm reminded of that poster Nintendo used to have back in the day in the 80s, where they were trying to correct everybody. No, this is not a Nintendo. this is a Nintendo Entertainment System. This is not a Nintendo, or this is not a Super Nintendo. So the Nintendo, it was hilarious because how everybody, all moms call Nintendo, oh, that's a Nintendo. They called everything Nintendo back in the day. I think they're doing it. I think what they're doing is they're keeping the Switch brand. They're keeping the Switch brand, and they're releasing increments of this Switch brand. I don't think the OLED was a mistake. I think the OLED is an increment to see how the audience would respond, and I feel like we will get another increment of what. So
you think they're going phone? They're going phone model here. Where it's like these
exactly. I think that's very smart. That's very smart because, man, Switch is still a hot item. It's still selling like hotcakes.
So you think they're not going to be abandoning the Switch concept in the next 10 years?
No, I don't. I think at least in the next 5, they're not going to be leaving the Switch brand. I think they're gonna release increments just to meet demand with developers, so that developers can have the tools and the hardware needed to develop their games according to this generation. But if you leave it up to Nintendo, trust me, they'll never release another console until a couple years from now. They're completely happy with the response of the Switch and how Switch is selling right now. They're in no rush. They're doing it. I feel like they're doing it so that they can meet the demands from developers who are probably behind the scenes talking and telling, hey, we need, you want this game? We need more hardware. We need hardware that could run this particular,
Yeah, I also think, we have a different president, by the way, who's never launched brand new hardware, like brand new hardware. Just done the incremental things so far without upgrading the internals. He wasn't the person who launched the Switch. Everyone knows, obviously, Switch was one of Iwata's last great ideas before he passed. So trying to figure out, what this particular president, who's also young, but very business oriented.
But you said it there, young.
Yeah, young and business oriented. Like as an example, Iwata was young, but he was a game developer.
Exactly. Yeah.
This guy is not. This guy's a numbers guy. Money talks. Money talks. He's a numbers guy, and that a lot of Nintendo fans were afraid of that. Oh, we're going to lose some of the imagination. And in some ways, yeah, you can argue Directs used to be better when there was the Iwata and Reggie booming personalities, and that's fine. You felt more connected to Nintendo probably back then because of those personalities, and that was the Satoru Iwata way. He was very much in front of the company, the face of the company. He felt it was very important for Nintendo to connect with fans, and it just turned out that him and Reggie had great personalities to be able to do that. And this president's very much not that way. He's not on camera. We only hear from him at investor meetings. He's not out here doing a whole bunch of interviews or doing Iwata asks about games and all that. And for a lot of Nintendo fans, it's like, oh, some of the soul of Nintendo's gone. But on the other hand, as awesome as Iwata was, he also went from GameCube to something vastly different with Wii, to something vastly different with Wii U, to something vastly different with the Switch. Like 4 straight generations. And I know he technically didn't launch GameCube, but still, it was one of those things where he was always looking at it from what new, exciting, crazy thing from a game development standpoint can we do that nobody else in the industry can do?
Yeah.
And that also led to a lot of confusion in the marketplace over, like, is Wii U a tablet for the Wii?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like, it's really confusing. And then, Switch ended up working out, but that's because people kind of sort of forgot Nintendo existed for a handful of years there. So, like, it's one of those things where this president, and I keep bringing it up because this is the first time I've seen a president talk about this, admitting Nintendo has had a problem the entire time I've been here of getting here and then ending up down here a year later, falling off a cliff, and I will do everything to prevent that from happening. Well, what's everything? That means he's a numbers guy. He wants to keep the numbers looking good. He's seeing right now, Switch peaked in 2020. It's been less every year. It's still doing well, but it's on the downturn. How far down that downturn do you go before you say, no, we got to get something out there? Because Nintendo traditionally will go all the way down. They'll go down till there's only a few million selling. And that's the cliff.
That's a mistake.
That's the cliff. You become irrelevant. You think this next platform is going to reinvigorate. It doesn't. Suddenly you're stuck. At least another 4 years before you get a new product out that is going to have to be completely innovative to the market because you blew it. You blew it. The motion thing could have been expanded into the Wii HD much sooner in 2010 before they lost momentum. Hey, now you can play all these Wii games in full HD on your new TVs that you got. Oh, and by the way, we're actually starting to experiment with VR a little bit. That would be a really cool addition to the motion controls. They could have got on that train back, but they didn't do that. They kind of just let it die. And then they said, oh, now we have a Wii for you after nobody had really spoken the term Wii in 3 years.
Yeah. Yep.
So like it was bad. And I think that this guy from a business perspective, I always saw he's looking at it that says, hey, look, people are copying us because our idea is so damn good, but they're only doing it in the PC space. PlayStation isn't even attempting to copy us right now. They're the last ones to come after our handheld in a major way. Microsoft isn't, they got no interest. They're going full streaming at this point. So we are in this unique position where even though Steam Deck's doing its thing, it ain't in retail outlets. It ain't doing the kind of numbers we're doing. Valve doesn't have the capability and the capacity. And frankly, Valve doesn't have the IP that we do because Valve has kind of sort of let their fans down in terms of their IPs for a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
The last time they really surprised their fans was Half-Life Alyx, and that was for VR, which has nothing to do with Steam Deck. Last I checked, Half-Life Alyx ain't compatible with Steam Deck. Because it's on a VR device. So
I've never considered Valve or the Steam Deck a direct competitor with.
Yeah, and it's a different market. It's PC.
Yeah.
And which, by the way, PC is still a gaming market. It's a dedicated gaming device for holding your hand for the PC market. I'm glad it does exist. There's been a number of them that have existed, but Valve finally made one that is actually within the price range of consumers, and that's more power to them because we've had the Aya Neo and a bunch of other competitors out there, but they're all charging basically the same price it would take to build a desktop. And like, that's like, people go, well, I can get this, or I could just spend this money and, get a gaming laptop that's even better. So I'll just get the laptop. But for $400, guys, it's going to cost more than $400, by the way. It only comes with 64 gigabytes. You're going to need a really, really beefy SD card to go in that bad boy to put games on it. We complain about the Switch. Have you guys seen the size of PC games? You can't even install Call of Duty on your thing. You have to buy, like, realistically, the Steam Deck costs more than $400. But unless all you want to play is indie games, then I guess, hey, you got maybe one of the best indie game platforms out there, because obviously you're getting your full 60 FPS on everything and a slightly higher resolution than Switch is. It's funny, they don't get flack for having an 800p screen, but Nintendo will get flack for 720. All right, enjoy your 80 extra pixels.
You know what's funny?
Per inch.
You know what's funny, that the most of the videos that I've caught on YouTube about Steam Deck is what's driving views to the Steam Deck is the emulators for emulating Nintendo games.
Yeah.
You know, so
they're trying to do that. Plus, some people are really happy you can take Elden Ring on the go, and that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
This is not me shitting on the Steam Deck. This is me saying it doesn't replace the Switch. There's people that want it to, but it doesn't. So Nintendo's in this position. They're the market leader with the next generation systems out. They're still leading the market. Does Nintendo want to drop to third place or less on the sales chart? We're not talking about the overall lifetime to date. A lot of us fans talk all about, oh yeah, it's about to pass Game Boy. It's about to pass PS4. It's about to get up there, creeping closer to the DS. We understand that as fans, we pay attention to these milestones. And a lot of people say, oh, Nintendo cares about, they're going to keep it going as long as they can just so they can pass the PS2 and be the best selling system of all time. And I'm sitting there from a business perspective, that's not what matters.
No, it's not. No.
We are the market leader. The moment that PlayStation and Xbox are consistently beating us and our sales are diving, we have to stop. We need something ready to full stop it. And I think the best way to full stop it is to never actually let that happen.
Yeah.
They're already seeing the downturn in sales. They still project over 20 million this year. Feels kind of like if they could get a product out in the next calendar year, or at least next year, that is how, hey, look, we're going to keep it above 20 mil moving forward for another 3 years. That would be the smart business move. Might not be the smart. You guys might be mad you just bought an OLED, but that's not what Nintendo, from a business perspective, should care about. They should care about the sales numbers, keeping the platform relevance, keeping the game sales high, because they're seeing record game sales. It's all about the relevancy in the marketplace. And Nintendo, over the years, has done a really, really shit-tastic job keeping the relevance when they're on top. They let it go. Like they were in the top of the mountain with the NES because everyone else messed up. And then they fell down a little bit with the SNES and let the Sega Genesis become almost as relevant. And then by the time the N64 came out, the PS1 passed it, and that was that. And Nintendo basically didn't go back on top until the Wii, and then they failed to hold on to that. And then now they're back on top with Switch with a completely different president. That one thing about him being number-oriented is number-oriented people make number-oriented decisions.
Yeah, and I think even if you bought a Switch recently, an OLED Switch, you shouldn't be worried, because in this past meeting they had, the question was asked if they're ready for about the transition, about the same topic, and Nintendo, what they responded was that they wanted to put a big focus on their Nintendo accounts, preserving Nintendo accounts, and to me, not rebooting like they always do. Yeah. Keeping the account that you already have, and to me, that screams backwards compatibility, meaning that if they do release a new hardware, don't worry, you'll still have the same game on your current Switch too for a period of time until they'll literally little by little start phasing out the prior consoles. You know what I mean? But so even if you did buy a Switch OLED, if you don't care about the 4K, because there's people who don't care about 4K.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So some people only play it in handheld. So like, that's not even a selling point to them.
That's not even the OLED
the more power with the higher frame rates and it consistently hitting the 720p screen, or if they put a 1080p screen, that could matter to them. But 4K is only a selling point for people that, one, obviously game on a 4K TV and primarily want to play in docked mode, which there are a lot of people, because 4K TVs are dirt cheap now, but it's not everybody. Can't forget that it does both. So 4K in that of itself isn't the only selling point.
Yeah.
Just like OLED isn't the only selling point. If you only play dock, don't buy an OLED. There's no point.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm happy with my Switch OLED. You know, I mean, I barely played on handheld, but I'm happy with the Nintendo Switch and the game lineup we have now. It's not that, you know, I'm pretty sure that all of this is. I would love to see hardware update. Yes, you know, because we want Nintendo to move forward with the times and because it only makes it better for the games that are coming to look better, brighter, more crisp, higher resolutions, higher frame rates, all that really fun stuff. You know what I mean? But Nintendo's doing a bang job with their releases and with their games and what they have currently. And I think that speaks to that 100 million plus accounts they have now that they want to desperately keep. You know what I mean? So these increments that they're doing with their I believe the next console will be an increment. I think it'll be an increment with higher better hardware. You know, better hardware because you just mentioned it. You said this CEO is a business minded CEO, money minded, and he's the reason why we have a Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch, 100 million accounts, and I feel like that's why he's the increment, not sudden change kind of guy. He wants to make sure the money is there and it's secure and it's there, something sure. You know what I mean? While the other previous CEOs were, what's the best next thing, whether it brought the company down or not? What's the best next controller? Because every single controller was completely different from the previous, you know?
Didn't care about, you know, what consumers are actually asking for. Even in the case of Wii U, it sounded like Iwata didn't even consult the development teams on if they wanted to make games for this kind of thing. And it was very evident in Nintendo's output. Very few games really took true advantage of that gamepad from Nintendo themselves. Which showed that, I remember it was Miyamoto himself that mentioned this with Star Fox Zero. He's like, yeah, I'm running the development of Star Fox Zero because I was tasked with proving the Wii U gamepad. Well, Star Fox Zero wasn't a launch game, folks. That came out a number of years later, which means Nintendo still felt like they hadn't proven the point of the gamepad. And it was their product and their idea. Granted, it sounded like it was entirely Miyamoto's idea. I think he took credit for it. Oh, yeah, this was my idea for a system, and Iwata thought it was brilliant. Well, that's fine, but you got to check with the team that actually makes the games, because neither one of you are making the games anymore. And that didn't seem to be considered. You mentioned, you know, Nintendo taking in feedback from developers and maybe what they want. They technically sounded like they were doing that with Switch. It sounded like back in the early dev kit days, that the Switch only had 2 gigabytes of RAM. And it was Capcom that came back to Nintendo while working on a game for it and said, we need more RAM. You better double it. And Nintendo's like, no, that's too expensive. And they're like, you need to double the RAM. It just needs to happen. And Nintendo kind of hem and hawed and said, you know what? Fine. We'll put 4 gigs in, but we're not giving you more. And Capcom said, all right, that should be good enough. All right. Well, thank you. And that's great. But that was also under, again, different president. This president, I don't know if he needs to. Like, Nintendo did a lot of Iwata set in motion a lot of things. So I think he realized, to give Iwata some credit, he was very aware of the mistakes he made. And he copped to them all the time, even when he kept making the same mistake and kept apologizing for the same thing. He kept at least recognizing we have a problem at Nintendo. And I think this hit him hard during the Wii U era, where they used to have their software development team and their hardware development team in different buildings. And I think he realized there's a disconnect in our teams. And that's why Wii U happened, because if we had them in the same building while we're trying to develop this hardware, the software team would have been right next to him and said, no, that's not what we want. We have no ideas for that. Why would we want to do that? We still want to create this great motion game. So let's focus more on that. Or we still want to, you know, now with Switch, hey, we have all these crazy ideas for this mobile experience that you can take on the go and walk your dog with. Like, hey, maybe Nintendogs is coming back. Like, we want to do that on this kind of device. You know what I mean? Look, I kind of look at it like this. Look at the big games coming out now. Breath of the Wild 2, Bayonetta 3, Sparks of Hope, probably a new Fire Emblem game at some point here. You know, Xenoblade, like, clearly the development teams here are loving what this device is. I highly doubt they're like, oh, when we put Breath of the Wild 2, oh, that's it. Nope, we don't want to make any more Zelda games for this kind of device. Are you kidding me? 20 million in sales, maybe another 20 plus million in sales on Breath of the Wild 2. Not only are the consumers telling you they want to keep playing games this way, your developers are keep making some of the best games they've ever made. Sports games aside, for this device. So it's like, obviously your developers are loving developing for it, and I'm sure they would appreciate a bit more RAM here, a bit more processing power here, a bit more of this here, so we can maybe take things to a level we can't quite yet. Guys, I'm not saying PS5 level of power. I'm just saying a level that I think their teams, and I think we're seeing the Xenoblade 3, Monolith Soft really wants to push their games to a level they just can't quite get on the current hardware. And I think Nintendo is a hell of a lot more willing to consider sales data, especially with a numbers guy in charge, profitability, and what the developers are doing. They're not stupid. Mario Odyssey is the best-selling 3D Mario of all time, and it's not even close. Breath of the Wild is the best-selling Zelda game ever, and it's not even close. Okay, Ring Fit Adventure might not be as big as Wii Fit back in the day, but they proved that fitness games are not dead on a portable platform. A portable platform, and they're able to sell accessory, a giant ring accessory. Oh, Labo VR didn't work? Okay, cool. Well, Ring Fit did. Oh, we're able to have the best-selling Metroid of all time, and it's a 2D side-scroller that was up for Game of the Year. Nintendo's doing this now. They're not idiots. I think this current president, everything he's been saying has really given me hope that Nintendo realizes we have something that hasn't gotten stale. We need to keep it going and keep it going in smart, intelligent ways that are going to make say, okay, not everyone wanted to get the Switch OLED because they play docked, but you know what the docked owners will want? A more powerful 4K capable system.
Yeah.
And that's going to convince all those Gen 1 Switch owners that bought it the first couple of years, now let's update. Now let's upgrade. Let's reinvest and let's get another Switch in the house. And let's hand our other Switches down to our children and move it down the chain. Maybe we trade it in towards it. Whatever. You trade in, and that don't affect Nintendo. They get the money off the new sale. They don't care what you do with it, whether you trade it in or whatever you're doing with the old one. That's secondhand market. I think this president is... At least what I'm hearing, I really like what I'm hearing. Now we just have to see if he executes any of the things that I think he's going to do.
I think he will. I believe it. I think he will. I think we have Nintendo's in good hands right now. Reminds me, believe it or not, reminds me of Tim Cook in a lots of ways, because when Steve Jobs chose Tim Cook, he did for that same exact reason. He's a money's person. He does everything safely. He doesn't take risk. He wants to make sure that if you have something in your hand that is working, you're not going to risk that over something. And that provoked a lot of people to leave Apple. But then again, look right now.
And I would say there's probably some Nintendo fans that when they hear you say that, they go, but I like that Nintendo is the company that experiments. And that I get that because for all up until this point, it's always been you never know what you're going to get. And there is a little bit of excitement to that unknown, crazy thing that Nintendo's going to throw out there. And I will say this. I do think that we still might get some stuff like that, but I don't think they need to abandon what the core is to do it. Like we had a guest on here in Prime Gaming Fest talking about VR. I think Nintendo could try to dive in fully with some wireless VR craziness, but they don't have to abandon this thing to do it. They can keep the core and do accessory-based things, even expensive accessories like VR, and still try to hit on that market. I think the Switch is that unique of a device that I don't think there's anything moving forward you couldn't conceivably do with this. Oh, you want to do some AR stuff, throw a camera on the back. Oh, you want to improve the motion controls, fine, make them a little bit more chonky and maybe put some new control sticks in there, please. Thank you. There's just certain things they could do. I think we kind of want to go back to full home console power. Fine, put a fan in the dock and overclock the hell out of your chips. There's so many different things they could do with the Switch, and it's like, and guess what? They have such the perfect name. The Switch doesn't mean just portable and on the go. It means it can do all the ways of gaming you've ever imagined. We technically can even do VR. It's really shitty, but we can do it.
It sounds like a generational name. It sounds like a name that could continue in every iteration and just basically update every time. You know what I mean? Because
it's like PlayStation. It's a station you play games.
Yeah,
Universal branding.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's like Nintendo has been working so hard on both mobile and home console to a point where they've kind of perfected the formula to bring us a Switch, something you can do both with. You know what I mean? And not to forget the handheld people, because they got the Switch Lite. I'm pretty sure that I can say I'm 70% sure that with Nintendo, when they announce their next console, their next update, they will include both this time. They're not going to release one now and one later. They're going to release the upgraded OLED and an upgraded Switch, the regular Switch, and an upgraded Lite version, because they can go ahead and take that OLED version they had, screen, add it there, maybe make it 1080, and then have it play better, and make that the update for the OLED people. And because I feel like they're gonna mimic a little bit what PlayStation is doing and Xbox is doing by releasing two separate consoles side by side, having this the main one and then having the lighter version of it together. I feel like Nintendo will follow that instead of this time, instead of releasing the main Switch console, updated console, 4K edition or whatever, they're also going to release the lighter version of it, which is an updated Switch Lite. And for all of those who only love playing handheld and have their Switch Lite, not leave them out and then have them wait a year before they get their updated Lite version. I think that's a smart thing for Nintendo to do, just to go ahead and pair them up, like
that would be nice. I could see them maybe trying to justify waiting, because then they can let's wait 2 years. They'll do a light version of the current. They'll try to get a boost of sales 2 years later.
Yeah.
I think a big key to that is, do you think Nintendo's going to do what they've always done? New platform comes, games that come on that can't be played on the old, or do you think there's going to be a cross generational thing for a couple of years? They'll get there.
Yeah.
But
I think at the beginning it'll probably be 4K edition Switch compatible with the game will be compatible with the lineup, and then eventually.
So what PlayStation's doing right now, where all their big games are technically also on PS4.
Yeah, eventually they will phase out, and for those bigger games, I'm pretty sure they're gonna do something cloud related to make them run on the lower end switches, which are gonna upset a lot of people. But then again, they're gonna see the value.
I think what's gonna happen is third parties like NBA 2K will just immediately gravitate to the new harbor and say, "Oh, but you can still play it on the old cloud," and everyone's gonna be like,
exactly.
No.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
And that's going to maybe motivate and see the value of the newer consoles.
Third parties will be ecstatic. Clearly. I think there's a lot of fringe games Switch would get right now if it even had just a little bit upgraded power. They get us close to PS4. Because Switch right now is more powerful than the 360 and PlayStation 3 and the Wii U, but not quite as powerful as a PS4. Specifically because everything's underclocked. They could actually overclock this chip and get close, but they didn't do that. So whatever new one they use, which will be on a smaller fab, it'll be newer technology. I think it's going to at least be PS4 in terms of its capabilities, if not a little bit more, especially since it'll be able to use DLSS and give us hopefully some clean upscaling. I think that would make a lot of third parties rethink about putting games back on this platform. And when I'm saying rethink, I'm thinking people as an example, finally, could we get GTA 5?
Yeah.
Something like that. By the way, I know GTA 6 is in development. Still don't know when it's coming out. But there's just a lot of games that I think are kind of on that fringe where they would like to put it on Switch. It's just not quite satisfactory enough for them to lower their games to the point to put out. Like Hitman 3 runs on cloud. I think if we had the more powerful Switch, it would be native.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the future looks bright for Nintendo. I think it does. I feel like there could be a chance that we see the console this direct, but then again, like they can shadow drop it like they did with the OLED that we woke up one morning, they saw that on the Nintendo website.
Then everyone raged. This wasn't the Pro. It's not more powerful. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, Takahashi Mochizuki's a piece of shit. I mean, he got the screen right. He got who makes the screen right. Yeah. He got that it was an OLED panel. He got all the dock stuff. Yeah, okay. He just mixed two different, and he admitted later that he mixed developer with manufacturing, and all the exact details on the screen and the dock, that all came from manufacturing, whereas all the information on a more powerful dev unit existing came from people who have them. So it was one of those things where like he just kind of assumed it was the same thing. And you know what? If I'm getting told there's an unreleased product and I'm hearing manufacturing sources and I'm hearing developer sources talking about new systems and there's nothing announced, I would probably work under the assumption it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of what happened is what they were really hearing about was the OLED was coming. But I always go like this. There was a lot of smoke last year. And when it came out that Switch OLED wasn't the Pro, I remember Takahashi Mochizuki come out and being like, man, dude, I heard this from 11 different developers. This thing is real. I'm sorry it's not here. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, so obviously Nintendo is working on a next gen, let's say more powerful. We don't know what it is. Yeah, we don't know what it is. And man, I just feel so sure about this year, man. I just feel so sure about this year. And let's go ahead and jump over the pricing. What do you think pricing will look like when it comes to what we have now and what Nintendo is?
I think Nintendo's toying around at the moment. So I know that they feel like the $300 price point's that sweet mass market price point. And I think there is a point of, in your mind, you can kind of see that in Nintendo history has been the sweet point. Mm-hmm. So like they tried with the Wii U, they had a $350 system versus $300. Turns out the $350 system sold better. Doesn't really matter because it was just hardcore fans buying the system anyways. Yeah. It wasn't a mass market success. So, they tried $250 with the 3DS. That didn't work out. They had to chop the price, and then they said sorry to all the early adopters and gave us some free games. That was kind of Nintendo being a good guy, I would say. They didn't have to give us anything. They just knew that, hey, we don't want our early adopters to feel burned and not buy a product from us again early. So I think Nintendo's actually in a very interesting position because the Xbox Series S is obviously $300, but it doesn't seem that system sales, even though it's doing well, doesn't seem to be hurting Switch. And we obviously know Xbox Series X is $500. We know PS5 is $400 and $500, depending on if you want the disc drive or not. So I think Nintendo's sort of, they put the OLED out there. It sold incredibly well. It keeps mostly selling out everyone they make off the line seems to be probably going to be sold at least, but if not now, like I know you can still readily find them online right now. Yeah. You tell me you can find them online this holiday. The only way you will is if there's new hardware launched. So I think it's interesting that Nintendo's looking at that. They got away with a $50 price hike on what's basically the same hardware with an OLED screen and an Ethernet jack. I'm sorry, that's not $50 worth of new hardware in a Switch. But they were playing around with that price to see if it could work. And I think with the other platforms like PlayStation selling out at $400 and $500, Nintendo's going, hey, if we're going to keep some cross compatibility for a couple of years, where we're not replacing the current lineup, we might be willing to go up to $399.
Yep,
and not drop the price of OLED, not drop the price of Switch, not drop the price of Switch Lite. Much to everyone's chagrin, we all want price cuts. Maybe they're like, no, we're just going to go $50 higher, which makes it sound like it's an incremental update that you don't have to get, but we got 4K in it. And then that's going to literally within a year be the number one selling Switch. And that's when we start to see, okay, now they're phasing out the version 2 red box Switch. They're not making those anymore. Now they're just making OLEDs and lights. And then slowly, as they're like, oh, we're getting close to, it's year 2 now of this new system. Now we're getting close to the light. All right, let's start to phase out maybe even the Switch OLED. And then we'll phase out the light when we launch the new one. I could kind of see a slow phase out like that where they kind of sort of don't ever drop the price of anything.
Yeah.
Not what I want them to do. I'd rather them say it's 300 and everything drops in price, but that's consumerism. Nintendo is a numbers guy, and I think they're seeing the numbers are showing they can go higher.
That makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And the way they should go about slowly, I mean, extremely slowly phasing the consoles. I like what you mentioned when they still keep the red box for a little bit. You know, they still keep the red box for a little bit and then slowly phase it out. Not just completely get rid of it on day one to just chop it and keep the OLED.
Which, I mean, they could. I've theorized for a while that the OLED is basically the replacement for the red box and it will phase out. But I mean, maybe they'll hold on to it for a little bit, at least past this holiday, and just see what happens. And that's assuming the new hardware's out this year. It might not be out till next year, but yeah. I don't know. Like, what do you think the price? Like, I know what I want the pricing to be, but that's what my brain is kind of telling me is that Nintendo's playing around to see. They would love to sell it at $399, and I think with PlayStation still having, like, this is now's the time. PlayStation's having stock issues still for another year. They literally said we're not going to be readily available till 2024. Xbox flooding the market mostly with Series S's. That's fine. People are buying them, but here's the thing: people really would die for a new Switch. And they were being scalped during the pandemic for almost double the cost.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think that Nintendo would kill it this way. This is what they would do. The $349, I agree. It's a test. Okay. It's a test, right? I feel like if they do release a Nintendo Switch 4K edition, keep the 340, keep it at $349. Bring the OLED regular edition because it's just a regular Switch.
Yeah, it is. It's just a red box Switch. Yeah, quality of life improvements.
Down to $299, and then keep the OLED where it is. You know, keep the OLED where it is, and then just completely get rid of the red box just off the bat. That way, they have
less market confusion. Less market confusion.
Exactly. They have an updated lineup. At the same exact price they've been having for the past.
Then it would just feel like you got your Lite, you got your regular Switch, and you got your Pro, and like it would be less confusing.
For the red box, and for the red box, it was like, wait, they just down the OLED $299. They'll be okay. I can upgrade to OLED now. You know what I mean? Just because it's $299, the price of their current Switch, and maybe the lights will if Nintendo does release a Lite OLED version. Well, hopefully they do. You know, they could say the same exact thing. Okay, hey, maybe I can actually update my Switch Lite to the other higher light. You know, so hopefully Nintendo keeps just those three numbers up there: the $199, the $299, and the $349. I think that'll be a bang for them to just keep that because people are used to that. It's selling super great right now. They'll crush the competition at those price ranges, and they'll keep people happy. You know.
Yeah. I mean, that I think is what I would like them to do, because I think they're proving. I think they're proving with OLED that they can get away with 350. They can launch their next one for 350, and it's going to sell really, really well, especially while they have momentum still, which is the big key thing. People always wonder, well, why would they do it when they're still going to sell 20 million this year? Yeah, because you want to do it while you still have momentum. You don't want to wait to lose that, and they're already on the downswing in sales. You might go, well, pandemic. You're right. It peaked in the pandemic. Then it sold less last year. It sold less this year. Smart businessman goes, hey, there's a certain threshold. I would love if we never drop down below. Instead of Nintendo being okay dropping to 15, okay dropping to 10. How about Nintendo's just never okay with that? That's an aggressive Nintendo. And that's what I kind of want them to see, at least as long as I'm loving this concept. Maybe 5-10 years down the road, I go, you know what? It is getting a little stale. You know, some people feel that way with iPhones and smart devices where, hey, maybe they're getting a little stale. And now we're starting to see experimentation. We're starting to see the flip phone style coming back and the folding screens. And we're starting to see where, hey, you know what? Some people are ready for a different take on phones. And Apple will get there someday too. They'll try something experimental and toss it out there and see if the market accepts it as well. Like it'll eventually get to that point. Guys, I'm not saying that this right here is final form Nintendo for the rest of our lives. No. And we're never going to get a different platform that isn't some hybrid. I'm not saying that. They will experiment again someday. But I think the smart thing to do is to keep the current base. And if they can keep above 20 million sales 5 years in a row, we're going to see them continue that. They're not going to just stop. Like smart business says, you can maintain 20 million sales per year in this console space. You have one of the best ever. Like you just do that. You don't stop. It'd be a dumb business decision to stop until it gets to the point where they're like, you know what? Now we're only kind of slowly maintaining 18, 17 per year. All right, now we got to kind of think that maybe the idea is sort of dying out. Like, people, that's what the phone companies are seeing. Look, the sales are still really good, but they're just not quite doing what they used to. It's time for a new innovation. Yeah.
There's one thing I am sure that Nintendo at this point in time, at least for what we foresee for the upcoming future, is that Nintendo found the sweet spot, which is Switch, handheld and docked mode, both worlds, and the technology is out there for Nintendo to put a more powerful chip inside their system to give us better, higher quality console. The technology is already here. We are in the future, like they say. So they have no excuse. If they want to spend a little less money, that's up to them. But I'm saying technology is here. I believe the next gen console or the next iteration or the next update will be backwards compatible. That's not with that comment that they made over at the last conference. Them worrying about accounts, that's the main thing. The accounts is what is going to make the money. You know what I mean? That's what they keep. So I'm thinking they want to keep my account. They want to keep me happy.
They got subscribers now. Like that's the big thing is subscription revenue. Yeah. I know that we don't look at it. Oh, $20 a year or $80 or hey, subscription revenue. Nintendo's in on that now.
Yeah,
and they don't want to be like, oh, it's a new platform and just lose all their subscribers.
Exactly. That's over. Yeah, that's over. Nintendo has a new mentality when it comes to that. I think, just like you said, perfect example. Thanks to Nintendo Online. Thanks to Nintendo Online. They need to make Nintendo Online better. You know what I mean?
Also forward compatible, please. I don't want to reset our classic library on the next platform.
Exactly. Forward compatible and backward compatibility, it will be something that the next gen Switch will have. So that's something we don't have to worry about. But I think we're going in a good direction. I think we're going in a good direction, and man, hopefully those prices stay exactly the same because it'll be sweet for the summer. For this winter, this holiday season, it'll be sweet. And I don't know, man, but I'm looking forward to Nintendo's future because it looks bright. The games look amazing. Their strategy looks good. At this date, 6 years on the 6th year compared to prior consoles, has any other prior console stayed at the level of sales that the Switch has stayed? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The fact that they only have one console to make games for makes them a better company because they can focus on one game and give us more games and better games. You know what I mean? So it's to me, it's a win. It's just a matter of time, and I hope Nintendo just, beat it up a little bit. But I know we're going towards a good future when it comes to Nintendo. Awesome.
Okay. So one last thing I want to talk about before we sign off for the night, because I just find it funny. So fellow content creator RGG85 has been putting out a little bit of content lately off a tweet he made. Because you definitely tell he's not a big fan of Xenoblade or Fire Emblem, which is fine, by the way. It's okay if you're not fans of those kind of games and RPGs and strategy games. It's fine. Like, they're not for everyone, right? Like, there's a reason Fire Emblem isn't a 10 million seller. Like, it's not Mario. It's not Zelda. It doesn't have the mass appeal to hit that kind of audience. And the same thing with Xenoblade. Like, Xenoblade's, 3-4 million. So, like, it's not, it's a good, great franchise for what it is, but it doesn't have the huge appeal. And it's interesting because he put out a tweet in a video talking about how frustrated he is with Nintendo. He targeted, I think, the wrong games to echo his frustration. But it's interesting because he kind of mentioned that, there's a whole bunch of IPs that Nintendo has that they're not diving into, that they're not attempting to revive as far as we're aware. I would say Donkey Kong, we can't say that yet. We have one on Wii U, and we potentially have rumors of one still coming now. So I'm not going to go that far. Just like I don't know that I can say they've abandoned Star Fox yet when we got one on Wii U. Let's wait till Switch is over before we start to be like, oh, okay, we're not getting Star Fox anymore. But like Kid Icarus, haven't had one since Uprising. F-Zero, haven't had that since GameCube. A bunch of IPs that Nintendo seems to have, quote unquote, abandoned. Basically, I would say because the profitability of it wasn't probably where Nintendo was hoping it would be. I know Miyamoto uses the excuse with F-Zero, oh, we'll make a new F-Zero game when we have an idea that we need F-Zero for, that we, basically Mario Kart's our jam. And we think we can use every racing idea we have in that game. And I get that to an extent. But F-Zero is always about, you think 200 cc is fast, go play F-Zero. So like, there is a point to that game still over Mario Kart. And I think he did a good job in that video, at least bringing up the fact that, there is, when Nintendo is at the peak right now. Yeah. That means, are you sure you can put a finger up like that? Isn't that the woman?
That's my
okay. I was gonna be like, if I did that to Yuli, I get punched in the face. So. No. Oh, hold on. Nope. I'm busy. I'm busy talking video games. Leave me alone for a second.
I was wondering if she could come in and play some games. I think it was she's fine.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's all right. Yeah. It's one of those situations that I'm curious. Like, is there any big IP that you think that just now is the right time to bring it back? Like, set aside the fact that he's mad over Fire Emblem and like, why are they doing this when they could be doing this, when those teams that make those games would never make those games that you're missing anyways. And I know Player Essence had a stream tonight where he talked about the same thing. I don't understand why these are the IPs being attacked. Monolith Soft is never, ever, ever going to be making a Star Fox game. They're never ever going to be making Donkey Kong, like that they are an RPG company. They lend teams to help other companies, but if they're going to lead development, it's going to be for an RPG because that's what they do. So what IP from Nintendo do you want to see come back that you think, with the way Switch is now's the time?
Punch Out.
We haven't had one since Wii.
Yeah, I mean, games like Firefox is one that I wish they gave us a brand new one of. You mean
Star Fox?
Yeah, did I say Firefox again?
Firefox is a browser there, bud.
Starfox.
Hey! You know what he's saying? No, he wants web browsers back on Switch. Now's the time. No, that's what he's really saying. He wants web browsers back. Got it. Did you know you can access a web browser by accident by trying to mess with your social media account?
It's Star Fox and there's two games that had a baby, and then Firefox came in.
There it is.
So Star Fox. Did I say it right this time?
You got it right this time. Yes.
So Star Fox is a game that they need to. I mean, it has a backstory, right? I'm in games with the storyline with backstories. I feel like they need to really hire good writers, good animators, and give us a really good. When I saw the trailer for this Starfield. There you go.
I got your back. I know you're not massively into the other companies. I got your back.
So Starfield.
Something about space games has you all messed up. Next thing you know, Metroid's going to be called Star Wars, and we're just in a totally different conversation.
Yeah, Metroid, and I'll see. I'll see Samus Hunter and the Star Fox guy in somewhere in outer space doing one of the God knows what. But anyway. That game made me think
Spaceballs coming back.
Baseball, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome. I'm waiting for part two.
All right, back to the point you're trying to make on games.
What?
What, we were talking video games for a second? I'm confused. I thought we were talking about Firefox browser coming to Switch.
No, that's not cool, man.
Finally, I can watch Netflix on Switch through the Firefox browser.
I'm gonna see a meme somewhere, a GIF with the Starfox.
Oh, it's coming up. Just like your Pokemon Garlic.
Yeah.
Never live that one down.
That is crazy, man. I've seen that almost every day somewhere. Anyway, but that game made me think of Firefox. Did I say it right this time?
No, that's wrong. It's Star Fox. My lord, you need to bring a Star Fox logo up right now and just have it on your screen so you know what you're talking about.
Pokemon Soup and
There it is. Soup and salad. Thank you. Thanks to the live audience of our podcast giving us more ideas that needs to be added to the Switch. Next thing you know, you hit a button and the soup pops out the back and the salad jumps out the top and you got to catch it.
So Firefox, I'm having a brain block right now.
Are you sure you weren't hosting Prime Gaming Fest for 6 straight days?
I feel
like my brain should be fried right now, and
I'm confused. Firefox is the browser.
Yes, it's a browser. It's the one. It's the one that made Internet Explorer pretty much go away.
All right, so Star Fox. That game reminded me of Star Fox a lot, like what Star Fox could be. Okay, give Star Fox a really good, a good story. All right, and then put him in outer space, do something really cool with it. You know what I mean? I think Nintendo has a good IP there that they can expand and help educate people like me.
Apparently. Maybe if you ever get in an interview situation with a Nintendo employee and you're trying to bring up IPs that you miss, avoid Star Fox. Just avoid bringing that one up.
I know Star Fox. I just had a brain fart.
Man, you know what we really need, Nintendo? We need to get Firefox on Switch.
Firefox, man.
Well, that's a first. No one's ever asked us for that specific browser on Switch. Browser? Yeah. What are you talking? What did I say? Firefox? Oh shit.
Firefox. Oh. Anyway. I mean, Star Fox will be a good mascot for Firefox. You know,
they both have foxes in it, so.
But yeah, I mean, franchises like that one, I'm not even gonna say anymore. Like that one, then Nintendo could really, put their hands in it. Just they're being concentrating a lot on. It's true, okay, on Fire Emblems and games and that sort, and some of these major IPs that they've had in the past that really helped build Nintendo. We don't see them. Around when the technology is here to help create great games like Firefox, Yeah.
My lord. You know what? I think there are some IPs that it might be time to. Surprised you didn't stick on the Punch Out one for a bit longer because that was so good. Even on Wii, that was just so good.
Punch Out is good.
And we have fitness boxing, which is doing okay on Switch. Like, why not get Punch Out back? I feel like that makes a lot of sense in this market. And there's another game just going to the mobile space because now, hey, this is everything, right? This is their mobile platform. This is their home console. Why do we not have a new Nintendogs by now?
Yeah.
I feel like
I don't know a lot about that.
I feel like that could end up being a 10 million seller to the cat. My daughter would be all over Nintendogs. The last one was I think Nintendogs and cats. She loves pets. She loves virtual pets. So give her a virtual dog. She'll spend more time with that than her actual dog.
Yeah. we need a game like Pokemon Go on the Switch, since it's a mobile device we can take outside with us. How about we're not involving something satellite-y outside in the Switch, and then we have the Pokemon Company that could actually create a game like Pokemon Go with that same kind of basic mechanic thing on the Switch, since it is a portable game, and they could just tell every other company, we can actually go outside with our Switch and actually interact with the world with it, and you can't, something like that. I'm not sure if a lot of people here are Pokemon Go fans, but Pokemon Go is was a good game. But I feel like Nintendo could do something with that too as well,
Yeah, I mean, some people see Golden Sun. I'm not so sure that. Well, it's not completely up to Nintendo for that one. Wave Race and any of their old racing games, I think people would like to see come back. Obviously, Wave Race is again fundamentally different from Mario Kart. It would be nice to see some variety. Nintendo owns the 1080 snowboarding franchise. They also own Snowboard Kids. Might be a great time to maybe re-experiment and bring those back. It'd be nice to see maybe some other party games that are not Mario Party. Yeah. And I'm not talking about Amiibo Festival, folks. We're not. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about some actual fun party games that I feel like Nintendo could put together. And maybe not. I don't know that we need it, but it would be neat if they could find a way to evolve the Pokemon Stadium IP into something different. I know a lot of the ideas in it have already been added to Pokemon games over the years. So come up with a new idea for it. Yeah. Why not? You brought new Pokemon Snap out, and that ended up doing really well. So let's maybe go into some of those. Maybe a new Mario and Luigi game. Yeah, we got a port. Why don't we get like a brand new one? Like I'm starting to think of some of these portable IPs out there that we have Advance Wars technically coming back, but we don't have a new one. Yeah, it's just a remake. Yeah. I don't know, man.
I mean, there are a lot of I agree with RGT at this point because not that they are neither.
So you agree with the RGT? Screw Fire Emblem, screw Xenoblade, Nintendo, you suck ass. All you fans bashing me, you suck. I want all these other Nintendo games instead. Have a good day.
Stop ignoring Firefox, and so I agree that they have to really focus on these IPs that they have. You know what I mean? That we all grew up with, and we need to see again. And come to the main line stage, share the stage with somebody else, with other than all these other games. But that's Nintendo. I mean, I'm happy with what we have so far. Because all the games that I want are coming out. So I really can't.
I keep thinking, like, does Nintendo have a major first party new IP this generation? Like, Splatoon was last gen. I mean, so was Codename Steam for 3DS, which I don't think they're bringing that back. This generation, I mean, if you want to argue that, I guess Ring Fit Adventure is technically a new IP. But also, do we consider that, or is that just their next evolution of what Wii Fit was?
Yeah, I agree with that part. I think it's
so some people brought up like Astral Chain, but again, it is a new IP that Nintendo controls, but it's not first party. It was made second party by Platinum Games. So like I'm thinking of like Splatoon was made internal by their internal teams. Xenoblade isn't new anymore because it's been around since Wii. ARMS, I suppose ARMS was one they did release year one. We don't have an ARMS 2 though. So is it considered a major IP if they're not going to continue it? Like, or is that just the new codename Steam? Is ARMS the new codename Steam? Like they released it, didn't work. We're not going to go back to it, which I find weird because it actually sold well for a fighting game. But remember, Nintendo standards for fighting game are Smash Ultimate. Yeah. So they might not think it was actually a success. 1-2 Switch as well. Again, but is that considered major? Is that Splatoon level? Is that Animal Crossing level when that came out? When I'm talking major, I'm talking like the next big thing that's new, that isn't reliant on the Marios and the Pokemons and the Zeldas. Like, what's that next big thing? And I don't know that we've seen it yet. Doesn't mean we won't get it at some point.
Yeah. But you might be right. I think it's time for a brand new IP.
Monolith Soft is, by the way, supposedly working on a big new IP, but till we see it, what do you know?
Especially one. Hopefully, it's one that does not have the word Fox or Fire in it. That way, I don't confuse it with anything else. As long as anything else.
So Fire Emblem, Star Fox. You're like that's the problem. You're just getting all confused. And then when you see like a Windows, PC, you're seeing the Star Fox browser every now and then, or an Android phone. Even though Chrome is on top. I'm sure you went to confuse Chrome for anything. Because they're the number one browser in the world, but Firefox still exists. I'm letting you know, Mike, Firefox has not been taken out yet.
How about Tetris? How about an open world Tetris?
Wow.
What that?
How do you do, Mike? If you're gonna say open world Tetris, I want to know how you pitch it. Tetris hasn't gone away. Tetris Effect, billion Tetris games out there.
I know it's too much, right? Too many Tetrises.
Well, you just said you want an open world Tetris. I just want to hear your pitch for an open world Tetris.
We have this guy. Okay, let's call him Bob. All right, this is
Bob the Builder's in the game. Got it. Okay,
Bob. Okay. All of a sudden, he's walking in this beautiful open world, this beautiful, majestic. Right.
All right. Unreal Engine 4, Sonic Frontiers. Got it.
Sonic and we see Sonic in a corner, and then all of a sudden, this huge giant block falls on top of him. It's us. Just playing Tetris.
So we're just creating mass murders, stacking blocks.
I mean,
that seems really violent for Nintendo Academy over there.
It'd be like a disaster game, like a 3D disaster game.
Wow.
Tetris.
I feel like this just took a dark turn. The super family friendly fun puzzle game is now the world's worst nightmare. I feel like didn't they do that in that one movie? I feel like there was that one movie where the video game stuff came alive in the movie and were like killing everyone.
Oh man, that's horrible though.
What movie? Chat, get my back on this. What movie was that? It wasn't that long ago that movie came out. Where like video games invaded the real world. There was like an alien thing, and they had to defeat it. And they were like in Pixels. Yeah, that was the name of the movie. Pixels. Yes.
Oh, yes. Pixels. Yeah. The this guy.
So now we're just copywriting Pixels and taking their ideas. Well, although it's just Tetris blocks, so it's not Pac-Man and everyone else.
Well, I think Tetris was actually present in that movie too, so never mind.
Yes, it was. Yeah, they had Tetris blocks dropping and destroying shit. There was a lot of death in that movie that they conveniently didn't show, but I'm sorry. A family's in a car and a Tetris block dropped in time. The family's done.
Yeah, that's done.
They didn't show the blood and guts, but the family's done. Yeah. Oh man.
Kirby's Adventure. I'm just looking here through the years of Nintendo. Looking for a game here that I think should come back. But
so Johnny Hernandez in the chat mentions that Neon White comes out tomorrow, and this is very true. You know what else also comes out tomorrow?
What?
Shredder's Revenge.
Ooh.
All the reviews dropped today, and it's in the mid to high 80s.
What the?
It sounds like they got the Turtles game right. Man. They finally, after all these years, nailed a Ninja Turtles game.
I know what I'm playing tonight.
Yeah, and it's like $25, and I'm sorry, when you're that highly reviewed, it's worth it. $25.
$25, man. I would pay $40 for that game.
Yeah, dude. It's in the high 80s. One of the best digital only games. I know Limited Run Games has a physical copy coming out, but
we got 6 players, right? Is it up to 6 players?
Yeah. Online too. Local and online.
Ooh, man.
They didn't forget the couch co-op. They're also bringing the online in. They got Casey Jones playable, Splinter is playable, April O'Neil is playable, plus the 4 turtles.
Man, Julia
in the ad for it, Cowboy and Bebop are back.
Well, Julia, you know what Nate's going to be doing in the cruise with his Switch.
I might be playing it on the flight. Because I will say this: I would love to just sleep on the flight, but my knee really hurts with all the pressure changing, and it usually hurts the whole flight, and it's like a 3-hour flight. And so I'll probably bring my Switch with and want to be distracted by something new. And I think TMNT is going to be. I mean, maybe I can even convince Yulia to be player 2 with me, and let's rock on TMNT.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, right?
Like that would be sick. Maybe she'll get her into a new game besides Fire Emblem Warriors. Get into a beat 'em up. You get to beat the crap out of foot soldiers. Come on now.
It's super fun, and it's easy to get addicted to.
Yeah, and guess what, honey? They support Bluetooth headsets now, so we can hook up our AirPods and actually both listen. That would be really cool. Just
That
saying.
is awesome.
Just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I can bring headphone splitters with you, but I don't want cords everywhere. That just annoys me. I deal with that in my studio. I'll deal with that for the better feeling headphones and the better audio. But when I'm just actually gaming and not on camera and not giving a shit about that, you know what? Let's go full wireless. Let's have a good time. There's a reason I could. By the way, guys, I don't need any of this equipment. I could just stream with my phone and I could do audio from my wireless AirPods and just call it a day. Yeah. It's just not going to sound or look as good. It's fine.
It's gonna sound good, but it's not gonna sound as good.
No, not as good. Not even close to as. It'll sound fine. And actually, the picture quality from the phone will be fine. The problem is because I'm hooking up, they haven't released for me to use this as the official webcam yet. So I'd have to use one of those third-party apps, which adds a ton of latency, as I found out in the past. Or if I wire it directly in, I got to deal with the fact that Windows is just going to randomly disconnect the camera whenever it feels like it. So, although I am curious what the latency is going to be once the official support drops on the new iOS version. It actually might be extremely viable, guys, as camera 3. So we see this camera we're using now isn't shipped back yet. I want to use this as camera 1. Then we got camera 2, and then I could have a legit camera 3 right with my phone in airplane mode, of course. But I'm looking forward to that. Not having to buy a camera 3, just a camera 2. Man, thank you, Apple, for finally giving a feature I've been dying for. Not assuming the latency is not bad. I have no idea what the latency is going to be like, but
I found a game that I want Nintendo to release hopefully soon. Which,
by the way, technically that feature only works on Macs.
Talk about using the phone as.
Damn it! I'm gonna have. You know what I realized, to use that feature like this year, Mike, I'm gonna have to run a virtual machine of Mac OS. And then screen capture.
Dude, let me show you a feature, okay? A feature that is gonna blow your mind. What the heck is this? What are you talking about?
Are you making Breath of the Wild 2 come out right this second? Because that would, dude.
No, that's not gonna blow.
Dude.
That's not gonna blow.
You do that, and this stream's about to blow up to 50,000 views, like that. The moment it's gonna get spread everywhere that we're playing Breath of the Wild 2 right now.
Let me show you a feature that's gonna blow your mind,
honey. It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. We can literally buy it tonight. It comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the first thing I want to do. Watch. Can you see the screen there?
Yeah, I see your dog. Okay.
Right. And watch this.
Yeah. Oh, they have that out now. I haven't played around with it yet. Is it just you that has the update?
That is crazy. Yeah, I got the update. But look at this. I literally just picked just my dog out of the video.
Yeah, you know what's cool? You know what's cool about that feature, guys? You can make emojis really out of any image. It basically it takes the work out of using image editors to draw outlines around things, because it just smartly knows that, hey, this is the thing. Let's cut everything else out. Yeah. They were showing that. Yeah. That's not available publicly yet, or is that in the beta?
No. It's
because I know you can sign up for a beta program. It might be you can get it.
The beta.
Yeah.
You can. Anybody can sign up. It's not the public beta. It's not out yet, but you can sign up and then
maybe get invited. Yeah, it's kind of like I'm on the Windows Insider program. Every now and then I'll get new features before others.
It's so cool, man. You get to make thumbnails. Take a picture.
Oh, for thumbnails, that'd be great. I don't have to cut it out in Photoshop. That would be awesome.
You don't have to. It does it perfectly.
And hey, I want to make new emojis of my face. Just
Exactly. Perfect. Yeah.
New emoji coming soon. Weird looking Nate. Mike with the triple cone microphone from the other videos.
Yeah, I had somebody in the chat yesterday during Prime Game Fest ask for Prime podcast with you, Eric, and my face just like that, like the Three Stooges on it.
No, that would be great. Wow. I'm just gonna say wow on that idea. The chat comes up with some interesting concepts. I'm not so sure I'm going to run with, but I do appreciate the feedback. We got feedback from Prime Gaming Fest as well, so we'll see if any of those ideas get implemented. Like, I love all the ideas people come up with, and then I sit there and I think about how hard is it for me to actually do. Oh man, this is going to be like a month of work for like the one feature you want me to add. Maybe we'll see what I'm feeling. like one complaint was like, oh, your TV only had the one static image. Let me tell you, that was not the plan. The TV was going to have Hangman on it. It was going to have all this other crazy stuff. There was even a point where I was even thinking on bringing a guest in on it, like one guest. And then when we would go to the 3-cam, when we had 4 guests, I was going to multi-guest on, things just weren't working out. And it was taking so long to set it up, I ran out of time. So like this TV was going to do a hell of a lot more. In fact, we were even, when we had a guest on, we were going to do a Be Right Back. And when we came back, the TV was going to be brought up like the guest is sitting right between us. Imagine Mike right here. It's like he's in the studio with us. Like, it was such a really cool idea that I practiced with, and it looked great. I just couldn't get the functionality to work the way I wanted in the stream. And I'm like, you know what? People, you're just gonna get what you get. And if you want to bitch about it, bitch about it. I don't know. No one bitched about the guests, by the way. Everyone thought all the guest segments were great. So that would be really cool. Yeah, that is an idea that we've, like, that's one reason why this TV, by the way, has like a $500 mount on it, because I could bring the TV literally almost flush with Eric and I if I really wanted to. So it would have been really cool looking. But
do it. Just, need some work. You can still do it.
Yeah, it'll probably have. The only thing that this mount doesn't have, I can't go up and down, because when I was doing it, I wanted to come out here and then I wanted the TV to come down about 6 inches, and it wouldn't do that. But they do sell mounts that actually do that. And so I'm like, do I double mount this thing? I got this crazy mount. I put an up and down mount on the crazy mount. I don't know, guys. I have too many crazy ideas that just cost a lot of money, and it feels like it shouldn't, because it's such a simplistic concept. Imagine you can move your TV up and down. Oh, those mounts are $1,000. Why? Why? Because nobody does it. Because this is why people set their TVs up. They set it, forget it. They don't move it around like I have ideas for. Like your TV back there, you're not thinking like, oh man, you know what would be cool with that TV? Let me extend it out 8 feet and turn it so it's directly behind me. And then when I'm gaming on the couch, I just slam it back against the wall. Like, people don't think about that kind of stuff, Like those are the crazy ideas I come up with.
But I mean, dude, I when I set up this studio,
Yulia's actually the video wall. She knows that. Really, I don't want a TV. I want a video wall. I don't want these triangles. I want an actual video wall. You guys ever seen that Kind of Funny? You see what Jeff Keighley does with like the whole curved video? Like, that's what I actually want. And then all the work for that goes into just designing things on the computer for that wall, video clips and different imagery. Like, imagine, you imagine that I'm sitting over here and I'm like, all right, it's not going to talk about Breath of the Wild 2. And I just tap a button and it's like the world of Breath of the Wild just fades in behind me. And it's like we're in the damn game as we talk about it, how badass that would look. Like, I have so many great ideas for a video wall, but they're bare minimum 10 grand. And if you want one that's really nice, you're getting up to 20,000.
That's not bad though.
But that's really not that bad for what it is. And you would never replace it. You'd never replace it. That you'd be using, like Jeff Keighley. He clearly bought the set he uses on Summer Game Fest, and he just uses it every year. Because why wouldn't you? Because he probably spent like $100 grand on that crazy curved, 1,000-foot wall you got built. Like, that thing is sick. But yeah, they are very expensive, but there's so much cool stuff you can do with them. And they look so good on camera because they don't get the reflection of the lights, because the video walls actually work on really, really, really tiny mini LEDs that you can't, they're like imperceptible. Oh, they're so cool looking. But
I'd settle for the 10K one for now. I'm good with the 10K one. But
I mean, even the 10K one, like there are some that, so, I don't know. Anyways, dude, we've had so many crazy ideas for my actual vision for the set. This is all kind of betweeners up to what I want to get to, guys. But I'm going to tell you that video wall probably won't happen till we're well over 100,000 subscribers. So subscribe to the channel and help us out. Every view, every like, every share, every comment helps grow the community. Helps grow. Let's get Mike his own video wall. Why not? Why not?
This is Nintendo Academy 2.0. I want to go to 3.0,
which apparently is a video wall where he's just like, hey guys, how you go? He's got his whole thing going on, and he's got the $50,000 one where he just hits a button and it just falls slowly behind him.
Nah, I'll just settle for 10K because
I'll just settle for 10K. I'm talking sponsorship level. You only have to pay for it. It's free.
No, Nintendo Academy 3.0 will not be in this
100K. Yeah, there are some really sick video walls at 100K, honey. That's like what Jeff Keighley's using on like that's what the whole big curve thing, which would look badass. But yeah, I'm not thinking about that. That was never part in my dream. But I mean, I won't turn it down. Hey, companies out there, if you would like to sponsor a really tiny YouTuber, I will gladly take your $100,000 wall that you're never going to make back, because I probably won't even complete one sale for you. I'm sorry.
There's two channels you can invest in that will make you a lot of money if you make the two first channels with video walls, where we can have our own set and change it every single video. We're here. Nintendo Academy, Nintendo Prime is the same exact name, different last names, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, it could be one of those things though where maybe sales would happen, because we had this really sick, awesome looking, like badass thing that we're doing, and all of a sudden these bigger channels are like, wait a second, what the hell is, like the Nintendo podcast, they're watching like, dude, that what?
Dude, imagine, here is
maybe we should buy that. Yeah.
Here's my next guess. And imagine you just walking in and on the video, because the video is a video wall. So you're just same exact size as I am on the video wall.
Yeah. You're doing like one of your streams over there. And all of a sudden, you don't even tell anyone. All of a sudden, Nintendo Prime just walks in the background. I'm like, Mike, just knocking Mike. Hey,
yeah, man.
Turn around, Mike. Thank you. Now get up here and give me a kiss. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, lots of ideas. I've had the video wall idea for quite some time. This is just this is what we could afford realistically at the moment to do, and I think it looks nice. But definitely, I have grandiose visions, and Yulia definitely. I've talked to Yulia about the video wall idea, and she's like, "Man, that would be so damn cool." And I'm like, "Yes, it would." And even my MCN knows, and my MCN made a mark down something when I signed a contract with them. And she said, I'm going to bring this up when I bring you the sponsorship that pays for the video wall. When I bring you a 10K sponsorship where they're coming in and offering $10,000 and you're immediately saying, no, don't pay it to me, pay it to this company and just deliver the wall. Mm-hmm. And she marked it down as like, that's the milestone event. She's like, because when you can do that, she's like, you will know that you have made it to the big time. And I'm like, that's cool. But just so you know, when I've made it to the big time, that 10K wall comes after I've already spent 50K on my users to give away. So
yeah,
like it ain't a focus for me, but it will be sick to have it, because that means I really have made it. When I'm up there making, the kind of cash where I could have a full team, and instead I choose to throw hundreds of thousands at you guys, and then I just happen to give myself a video wall, but
man.
Gotta dream big. That's right, Corey. But well, dream big that you'll ever win one of those King Kong Pro 2 controllers from my channel. Kong, everybody. Those controllers were a big hit. Thank you so much, Cooley Kid. Those controllers were a huge hit with the stream. So I think that's I think we're gonna wrap it up there.
Yeah, bro.
I think we're good. Yeah. Do you have anything you want to tease to the audience? Any upcoming content?
Oh, well, we have the first episode of the Topic podcast we're recording on the 25th. We're going to be pre-recording on the 25th with the voice of Bowser, Kenny James, Samantha Kelly, the voice of Peach, and we also have the voice of her name is Laros Faye Smith, and she's the voice of Rosalina. She's going to be in the first episode of the Topic podcast. That's going to be airing the following week. But if you want to,
you forgot a couple names with Nintendo Prime and Yulia Knutson sitting on your couch in the background.
Yeah,
we will be in Miami that day, technically.
Yeah, on the 25th.
On the 25th, we get off our cruise ship and we're there the rest of the day.
That's awesome, bro. It's awesome. We got to talk.
Yeah,
but if you want to, right now, I am actually still collecting questions for them because, again, just like Nate, I always do everything for the subscribers, because if not for them, then I wouldn't be in the position to actually have these interviews with these people. So I'm always collecting questions. I have a community tab where you can post a question that you want to ask, and I will choose. It's gonna be like a 3-hour long thing. So I'm gonna try to get all of those questions asked by you guys, including the shout outs. Who asked the question, and then give it to the proper person so they can answer it for you as well. Yeah. So it's gonna air the following week, but the 25th is a recording date. So if you want to go ahead and submit your question now, then you have time now to submit that question to one of these voice actors. And I'm still waiting on a fourth answer. So I'm not gonna say who it is, but I'm waiting on the fourth answer for a fourth person that might be entering as well.
All right, awesome. And if you listen to the audio version of the podcast, thank you guys so much for listening on all of your favorite podcast apps. I know the Apple one happens to be the most popular one for our crowd, but that's awesome. I love all you guys. I will put links in the description of the audio version for you guys to go check out and get all your answers submitted. And I'll get the information from Nintendo Academy behind the scenes here and get that all taken care of. And we'll also put it in immediately after we're done airing this live. I'll put it in the description of this video. And then obviously when we get it reposted over on our podcast channel as well, you guys should definitely go check that out because it is an amazing opportunity that Mike is able to put together the first episode with such an amazing crew. And this is why he's doing them only once a month so he can make sure he's delivering a banger like this that nobody else is able to put together except for Mike Perez at Nintendo Academy.
And Nintendo Prime.
Well, I mean, I'm not putting it together. I'm just watching.
Something
maybe. I might be sitting on the couch. I'm just watching. Maybe some other content pops up, but
I'm looking forward to E3 in person. Where Nintendo Prime and Nintendo Academy for the first time ever, same camera.
Destroy the show floor. We walk, and we need our own security. That's
man.
All right, guys.
Julia as security.
If there's any fan that reaches out to touch me in places that they shouldn't, Yulia will literally drop them. No doubt. She won't let anybody mess with me, man. I don't even need to worry about defending myself. If anybody tries to mess with me, like the camera guy that tried to take out my knee, that camera will be up the guy's ass. Oh, yeah. This happened at 2018. I got drilled by like a $200 camera, and the guy didn't eat. The guy looked backwards and just kept walking, even though I'm laying on the ground in pain. If that happened and Yulia was there, that camera would be up his ass. Like, no doubt.
No,
she don't do it because it's not that I would sue him for it. It's the common courtesy to realize you hit someone. You knew it because you looked back. Stop and make sure the person's okay. I know you're worried about getting sued. It's the right thing to do. And that was what I really had a problem with, is that you just didn't stop. Like, I'm laying on the ground in pain. Yeah. Ask if I'm okay. Ask if they need to go get medical assistance. Yeah. You didn't do any of that, and that's what really pissed me off.
And is that the reason why your knee's bad right now?
No, I had a knee problem already. That exasperated it, though. It has been a little worse since then, but what are you going to do?
I'll be there. I'm a black belt taekwondo instructor.
So you and Yulia are my security team, is what it really is. Poor Eric. No one's gonna recognize Eric. They're not gonna care. I'm sorry, Eric.
I'll defend Eric too. Although
Stone Cold, dropping the Stone Cold stunners.
He's about 5'9", 5'10", Eric.
Yeah. I'll be the short one in the group. You won't be able to miss me.
That's what we're gonna be. You know, you're gonna have too many people in the back dressed in black with sunglasses. Just walk.
Who's this guy? But no, you know what's funny? It's funny if you and Eric are walking with the sunglasses and you guys are like wearing black, and it's like me in the middle and Yulia behind me. People are gonna start thinking like, dude, who is this guy? He must be really important.
Right? I'm like, link one, the coast is clear. Link one. Okay,
dude, who's this guy walking with security? Man, you must be important. Can I get your autograph? Then I grab the shade. Then I whip out the shades. Put them on and I just keep on walking by.
Dude, it happens. I was recording a video. I was doing the video that I'm gonna release soon for the Super Nintendo World.
Yeah.
And an old lady, she's super sweet. An old lady like, are you famous? Can I have a picture with you? I'm like, no, I'm just recording a video for YouTube. Is it gonna be on YouTube? YouTube is and I'm like, and she goes, can I take a picture with you? And she wanted to take a picture with me. She had no clue who I was. She just wanted to take a picture of me while I was recording the video for Super Nintendo World thing. Crazy.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, you never know, man. It's just like when I've only ever been recognized in my town as Nintendo Prime for the podcast as my voice. Not even. They don't even know what I look like. They only listen to the audio version. I'm confused. So the thing I do that gets the least amount of attention, the audio version of the podcast, is how I got recognized. Man, you sound like the Nintendo Prime guy. Hey, everyone, welcome to the Nintendo Prime. You are him. Yeah. Hi. I'm a YouTuber with almost 80,000 subscribers. You're what? Yeah. Hi, welcome. can I do something for you? Oh, dude, I'd like to buy your Quick Trip stuff. No, don't worry about it, man. I'll buy my own Quick Trip stuff. You have a good day, sir.
I'm still practicing my podcast voice, and all that I can think about is, please keep your feet, hands, arms, and ears inside the tram at all times. Thank you, and welcome to Walt Disney World. That's all I can think about.
Yeah, you might need a little bit of a better script for it, but that's a good voice. That's an announcer voice, sir. I like that.
Yeah, that's all. I mean,
Next on the Nintendo Academy podcast.
Next on the Nintendo podcast. Recently, Nate.
Remember about
what will happen in the next episode of Nintendo Podcast?
Nintendo Academy tried to control Nate, but he still took another shot at tequila. Should have known better to invite him on my podcast. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in.
That Mike changed that shot for the bomb.
Oh no! I better be in person at your house. You can deal with me after that. No, you'll be like, yeah, you gotta leave now. Have a good day. I don't have a car. You drove me here. You walk back to the hotel. Good luck. All right, man. Well, thank you guys. Thank you always for spending some time with me. Thank everyone watching. You can find the re-upload of this tomorrow on the Nintendo Prime Podcast channel. Also, the audio version. Also, I will be taking clips out of this one to sort of slow release up until the next podcast next week, just because I'm going to be out. It's going to be slow releasing on the Nintendo Prime Podcast channel. Maybe if there's like one clip, I might throw it on the Nintendo Prime channel just to advertise the podcast channel while I'm gone. But we had a lot of good conversations here that I think are going to be worth clipping out. So thank you guys so much for coming in. I appreciate all of you guys. This is one of our highest viewed live shows that we've had for the podcast in a while, keeping some of that Prime Gaming Festival momentum. That's nice to see. I will be live again on the channel tomorrow night and on Friday night as well. Will be our final live stream before I leave on the cruise over the weekend. I'm still trying to convince Yulia to come on that one. She won't be on right away but she gets done with work early, so I'm trying to convince her to maybe come on and say bye to you guys. I have no idea. She's a little camera shy at times. Don't know why, dude. She's sexy as hell. Just get on camera, huh? Dude, if you co-hosted all my shows and just sat there as eye candy, I'd already be at like 500,000. I mean, get the people.
Hey, Julia, come on, look at our faces. Look
how well I'm doing with this face. Now imagine that there was some cleavage.
Oh well, that face with cleavage? No, I'm good.
Darn it. Thought I had you, Mike. All right. Catch you guys in episode 55 next week.
Later.